the Top 6 Show, the original multi-club fan channel. Make sure you're following us now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in the description below. Welcome back to the Top 6 Show. Smash the like button, subscribe right now. Make sure bell notifications are turned on. An action-packed show. I'm actually excited about today's show. It's the first time in a while, first time in a month I've been on one of these where my team's won a football match. So Man United winning put me in a good mood. We'll be talking a bit about title challenges later for Liverpool that win again, unbeaten in 18. Of course, we'll be unpacking, looking at the aftermath of the North London derby, which has still got people nattering. And we're having a cookout today, people. We're having a full cookout. Burgers, steaks, marinated chicken. We've got halibut. We've got some other weird fish. We've got a bit of swordfish. We've got shrimps. The Chelsea cookout is happening later on the show, people. So make sure you stay with us after, just by the way, 12 points in their last 18 Premier League games. 2 wins since March. Amrabat has played, and I stole this, by the way, from Rory. Amrabat has played 6 minutes for Manchester United and has as many wins as Enzo Fernandez in the Premier League, according to the statisticians. So lots to go on to today, lots to talk about. I did want to start, though, with Manchester United because they won the game, Mo. Good goal from Bruno Fernandes. Still some problems at the club. Do you think this is the beginning of a turnaround for United, or do you feel as though we learned nothing from that game?
We learned nothing from this game. We learned that Bruno Fernandes can finish the ball at the back of the net like he used to do when he first joined the club. Nothing new, to be honest. But Man United look like shambles. The excuse of Ten Hag not having his players. I thought Vincent Kompany drilled his team really well on the pitch. Erik Ten Hag, there are 2 options here. It's either he set up his team on purpose to play that kind of football, which is a disaster for me, or he set it up wrong and Vincent Kompany got it right, which is even worse because Vincent Kompany is a newer manager. So both sides is bad. This notion of Man United fans happy with getting the results, that's only the first phase of a process that should have happened last year, and he got it all right. You got results. You did this away from home, and you got to a final, and you won a cup. You got to the Champions League, but I thought that this year I'll see progression. The way I'm looking at Man United now, you regressed from last year. You can tell me about the players or not the players. At least I want to see a style and a way of playing football, and I want to see players making mistakes. Just one example, Maddison losing the ball to Gabriel Jesus ahead of the 18 is a good sign, not a bad sign, same as John Stones making these mistakes in 2017. But at least the manager knows that, yeah, we got to work on this. At Man United, I don't know what is Man United again. It's good that you got a result, which is expected against Burnley, but I don't think this is a sustainable way of playing football. And the aim for Man United is to get top 4, and it's not like looking like it's on the horizon. So it's not looking good, in my opinion.
So when we lose the ball playing out from the back, that's something you'll praise on shows to come.
If you try, yes. Yes. Because once you get it right, once you get it wrong, but the next game you'll get it right. And Postecoglou, by the way, his first game in preseason, he lost the ball like 15 times, but he kept doing it until he got it right. I don't know if it's the pressure. Someone told me before, no, the pressure at Man United is different. Okay, but the pressure at Man United is different if you were getting the results last year, but this year you're getting some results, but it doesn't look sustainable. So for me, I would rather have people making mistakes, but having a certain style of play, like Jurgen Klopp did it in 2015 when he joined, than actually just winning the 1-0. This is for me looking at Ten Hag at his 8th season at coaching career. Mikel Arteta maybe had the excuse it was his first job, but I think Erik Ten Hag shouldn't have an excuse, and it's not only about the players, because just one thing, is McTominay worse than the Burnley players that played in the Championship last year? I think the majority of people will tell you no. But again, McTominay looked worse against Burnley than the Burnley players. And that's maybe not on him, maybe on the coaching staff.
If Burnley had a striker, they win that game comfortably. Comfortably. That was a walk in the park. I'm sorry to say it. That was a walk in the park. Bruno, this is the difference with Man United. You have game winners. You know, you've got a Rashford, you've got a Bruno. These are guys that can step up in the crunch moments and finish these chances. Something that Chelsea don't have right now. Obviously, we'll go into Chelsea a little bit later on. But if Burnley had a striker, listen, they bury those chances, man. Because watching them is like watching Chelsea, man. It's all pretty, you know, keeping the ball, creating chances here and there, but again, no clinical edge. Wolves done the exact same thing at Old Trafford as well. No clinical edge, you know, but overall they bossed that game. So like Mo just said there, I agree with literally everything that he said. I don't think it's going to be sustainable. It was the same sort of thing last season. Only difference there was Rashford was on form. One of the best wingers in world football at the time. No one was playing better than him at that time on the left. And this season he's not looking great, is he? So listen, United are going to get caught again. They're going to get caught again. And it's going to get long. So Terry, enjoy your 3 points for now, bro. You've got problems at home. You've got problems at home.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying Man United a completed article. Question for everybody agreeing how bad we are and rubbish we are. Question for Rory, definitely the Chelsea boys, definitely everyone barring Mo, really, because you don't support a Premier League team. With Man United being this bad, with no style of play, we're going to be caught out. How embarrassed are you going to be if and when we finish in front of you this season? How embarrassing is it for you, for your football clubs, if, in your words, a collective, this shit, horrendous, non-progressive, no style of football team, if they finish in front of you, or heaven forbid, win another trophy before any of you, how embarrassing and how bad a look is that for your individual football clubs?
Finish in front of me, it's impossible. I can't lie to you. That's generally impossible.
Okay.
I think
again, that isn't the question. Answer the question instead of answer the actual question.
I'll tell
I'll be
you.
embarrassed.
I'll
bad as
answer
we
that
are, I'll be
question
embarrassed.
easily, to be honest with you. I think you're going to finish above Chelsea, so they have to be extremely embarrassed. First of all, I completely agree with Don and with Andre on their takes. But when it comes to this whole situation that you just described, I think you're going to finish above Chelsea anyway. I don't think you finish above Arsenal or Spurs. Is it embarrassing? Of course. I will hold my head in shame and I will hang it in shame if Manchester United finish above me or win a trophy before me. Both of those things are not going to happen. So
another question, because I like to get this stuff out early in the season.
Yes.
If Man United do end up coming third again and really turning their season around, if Man United do win another trophy this year, as an example, will it be looked at as overachieving? Because you're now, again, the same as last season, at the beginning of the campaign, we're told we're crap, no style of play, team isn't good enough. But yet when the team improves, everybody says, well, that's what we expected because you've got a really good squad and a really good team. I just want to now, still in September, to ascertain what people will say if we achieve more than you're all saying we will now. What will the rhetoric
the thing
be?
is,
I think, Terry, to be honest with you,
at the same time. Both things are true at the same time.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think they're contradictory because Man United are expected with the summer they've had to have a style of football, to play well. So if Ten Hag turns it around, then we'll clap for Ten Hag. That's it.
now,
Brilliant.
Terry,
Pep Guardiola last year, Terry, if your manager can turn it around, a lot of manager can turn it around, and he has the experience to turn it around within weeks in an international break. Pep Guardiola last year, they looked at scoring goals, but they're not as fluid. Changed the way they played, and they looked absolutely phenomenal.
And I think that's a fair point, Mo. So my question kind of is, how do Man United turn this around? Because you're suggesting that it won't turn around if and when he's played. Again, we had 11 or 12, 13 players out injured, a lot of them first team. We've not had a single game yet where the majority of last season's and this season's signings have played together. So does anybody think that the manager will turn it around and will start playing like a top team once that happens?
I think you will improve.
The question of whether or not we can overachieve.
Yeah.
Because if you don't think we'll do it then you think we're a crap team, period.
Yeah.
That depends
naturally,
on
naturally, I do think you're gonna.
Question: will he turn it around?
Yeah.
Why do you think we can answer that? I don't.
Wait,
get
hold
it.
on. Wait, hold on. Wait, Terry, let me answer this. Yeah, for me, I do think that United can improve with the players that you're missing because I don't think the personnel that you've got right now is great. That's the reason why I've said United overall this season aren't going to do what they need to do. Because when you've got guys like Scott McTominay coming in, you know, looking at your back line, Johnny Evans, I know he played well the other day, but again, it goes back to Burnley not having that attacking force. If he came up against a team like Arsenal, like he did the other week, the guy was shaking. You know what I mean? He looked like an old man. So these are things that I'm looking at. Your squad overall, there isn't that quality and depth that you need. But I do think that he will improve to an extent when his players start to come back like Amrabat, you know, your Mounts or whatever. These are players that can actually do something. Do you know what I mean? Do something. The other players that you've got in reserve, they can't. There's no hope for them. You get it? There's no hope for Scott McTominay and these guys. They can't do what Ten Hag needs.
So you disagree with what Mo said earlier, that he's not having it, that it's because the manager hasn't got his players playing with this bad?
Yeah, no. Listen, I've got to be fair. I've got to be fair, man. When these United have a lot of quality that they're missing right now. Same way Chelsea are missing a lot of quality right now. I think that the quality that we have available is better than Man United's. That's why overall I'm looking at United's squad. They're gonna have to bring in these guys. Varane can barely stay fit. Martinez, he looks like he's picking up a few injuries here and there. Their overall squad's not great, but I do think you will improve a little bit when you get these guys coming back.
I think to answer all the questions almost, like if United keep playing the way that they are now and still finish above Arsenal, I'd be on the floor. I'd be embarrassed. I wouldn't know what had happened. And in that case, Eric Ten Hag has massively underperformed with his squad. If you improve, which I think you will when players are back and they've started learning their style, and that should be happening quite quickly now it's his second season. If you improve a bit and still finish a bit behind Arsenal, I'd say that's probably where you are. And if you're top 4, I think that's fine. And then if you massively improve and start playing top-level football and get ahead of Arsenal, then I'd say it's not embarrassing because you've been beaten by a team that are playing very, very well. And so you have to respect it.
Listen, I get that. And there's a few people in the comments that said, surely Terry understands that United would have to play better than they are now to finish higher. No, I understand that. That isn't why I'm asking the questions. I'm not delusional. I've watched my match reactions and see what I've said about my club. What I get a bit bored of, and I'm not really accusing any of you on the panel of this, is that the way people talk about Man United is always in absolutes. You are crap. Your manager dead. Your team is dead. Your squad is rubbish. And then when we start to improve, they change that narrative to, yeah, but we all knew you were this good. I just want to hear a little bit more in-depth commentary from our rivals on Manchester United rather than the same tired, dead banter dribble, which is either you're underachieving even when you do well because how much money you spend, but when we're doing poorly, it's you built a bad squad, you've wasted your money, your manager's crap. Like, I don't like how polarized it is, and I know I'm a little biased on that because I'm a Man United fan, but every other club seems to get a lot more nuance when it comes to the discussion. With my club, it's either we're underachieving even when we're good, or we're dog shit and we're never going to get any better. And
this is all in Ten Hag's hands, though. This is the thing.
Oh, mate, I'm not disputing that element. I agree with you. This is on Ten Hag to be able to improve this. What he's got a squad that's good enough to make the top 4 and good enough when fit to play better football than we are right now, without a shadow of a doubt. Do I think McTominay can do it? Listen, some of the players that play for Burnley in midfield are better than McTominay. McTominay is not very good at all. He is a low-level Premier League, high-level championship player. That is what Scott McTominay is. He is absolutely bang average, and he shouldn't be at this football club anymore. And we've got too many bang average football players at this club. But I totally agree. Terry, Terry, you gas up most. Sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
There's like an unexpected and an expected side to them. Because if you look at United's results, they lost to Arsenal, lost to Spurs, lost to Brighton. And let's be honest, those are all better footballing sides than you. So that's kind of expected. And then obviously you beat Forest, you beat Wolves, and you beat Burnley. And that's the expected side. But the unexpected side is, so you're getting the expected results, but it's unexpected performances, because last season, you can't really blame Ten Hag too much for just adopting a style that was good enough to get results. But when it's the second season, like injuries, I do hear it, but it's getting to a point where we have to see a style of play here. Because if we don't see a style of play and you continue to buy players, then what are you building for? Yeah, like, it doesn't really make much sense.
So when people say style of play, define what would be a style of play for Man United. What's it called? What does it look like?
The thing is, like I said, I'm not too high on Ten Hag, and I don't know him tactically that well. But broadly speaking, it's probably an attacking style of play that dominates the ball, has a high defensive line, like that gets lots of players into the final third, combines well, can help control games, isn't prone to getting attacked in transition. Just that's broadly speaking. But we've just seen against Burnley how you're basically sitting behind the ball and counter-attacking against a team that just came up from the Championship last season. And I get it. You know what? He's showing that he's adaptable. But also, if United want to kick on this season, you're not going to get any better playing the just results-focused, counter-attacking transition style of play. Like, that's not going to lift you up the table. That's not
No,
gonna.
I understand.
it's not gonna
I think he's
win
under
this
pressure.
last
To be
season.
honest, Terry, one of the things that I was thinking about Ten Hag, I think Man United has been in a bad place for a long time. That I feel like he doesn't have he doesn't have the flexibility or the room like the Ange to actually go for a long run and try things. He's like, maybe I'm under pressure. Maybe I need to play the football that will get me results now. And he thinks that tightening the defense, playing counter attack is to get the best out of these footballers. Playing Bruno on the right, this is what I have now. I feel like maybe the pressure from the fans, from the boards, from the media is getting to him. He's like, he doesn't have the room to improve these players.
Yeah, I think there's part of that. I also, was when people speak about style of play, I do think when people say patterns of play, style of play, I think it's become such a vague buzzword that when you ask people to expand, and I'm not talking about you, Roy, their eyes go very wide, and you see the whites of their eyes because they realize, shit, I don't even know how to explain that. And I don't know who said this, it might have been Einstein, but if you can't explain something in simple layman's terms and you don't understand what it is that you are talking about, and most Man United fans I ask, go, what should he be trying to do? And they go, well, like, get more people in the box and hold on to possession more and dominate the ball more. I see a team that tries to do that at times, but then I look at people like Scott McTominay as a case in point, who's so poor on the ball and so panicky when he has it that he's not able to move the ball in the right way, that he isn't able to pass it how he wants, how he loses possession when I don't want him to. So part of me thinks, well, if we had better technicians and someone like Amrabat, who statistically speaking was one of the best and most pressure-resistant midfield players in Europe last year, players like him are what's going to help us improve, in my personal opinion. So I need to wait and see a little bit more around that. But look, someone here says, Terry, what is Man United's style of play? Again, I've done these shows before, my bro, where I've actually done shows where I've broken down what Ollie was doing and the way we do things and the patterns that I saw in every game and the positions people took up. And I did countless videos showing everybody. And because it disproved the theory, again, we have a style of play. It's just a style of play that you don't like or don't want. That's the fundamental difference.
Okay, the thing is, Terry,
we know what we have to do. So I get, sorry, mate.
About your style of play, like I hear it when you say, "Oh, it's not like the usual like Pep Arteta approach, like Jogadou position and all this stuff." But like, at what point did Ten Hag just bite the bullet and say, "You know what? The players I have at my disposal, it might not be 11 players that are perfect for me, but at what point did he say, you know what? I'm playing my style now," or do you think he already is? And again, he didn't really have the ideal personnel, but
he could be. I think he's playing. I think he's playing part of his style now. And everyone always talks about playing a club's way. Spurs fans were singing they've got their club back when 2 or 3 games in, stylistically they were singing that. Man United, I'm not against Burnley, so I'm not excusing that. But playing counter-attack football away against Arsenal, away against City, away against Liverpool, this is what we've done my whole life. So Man United fans saying they don't want that, I reject that notion because that's not Man United's way. And I don't believe you have to be the most dominant on the ball to win football matches if you've got confident and capable football players on the ball. So I'm quite happy to have a mixture. I don't need to have a one-size-fits-all approach. I actually think unless you have the best squad in the world and the best manager like Pep, that style where you only play one way, you'll end up falling short a little bit more than you win things. And I've always questioned Klopp on that. It's almost sometimes change it up a little bit when you've got problems and he maybe reacts a little bit late because he isn't adaptable. But then most managers in 2023, I don't think are as adaptable as the previous generation. So maybe I do want a little bit of that. However, I take the same stance as Staffy on United. I will judge us fully when I actually see a team that's 80, 90% my managers. You know, some teams get style of play straight away. And I know circumstances are always different. Spurs, you're seeing it instantly. Arsenal, though, under Mikel Arteta, because their circumstance and scenario is different, it took a while for that style. There was a couple of years where a lot of people thought, and I was one of them, that Arteta was a pragmatist with the way he played football. And a lot of people used to laugh at them for that. And then last year, it all clicked into gear, and suddenly they were this swashbuckling, amazing football team, and a lot of people didn't see it coming. So, especially rivals, some gooners certainly did. So, yeah, I'm relaxed. We've got to get the results. I do want to see it improve. I'm not denying that. But viewers, let us know what you think. And
let me just ask you a question on that as well before you go into the. Go on.
Okay, we'll come back to United later. We're just running out of time, and I've got to get into the Arsenal Spurs stuff. Ten Hag said United style of play is quick transition. So again, you stop. I don't mean it rudely, Daniel. Please either listen to press conferences in full or read articles. Stop reading Twitter. as part of what he's trying to build, he said he wants to be the best transitions team in the world. Part of what he's doing. So he didn't say, I only want to do transitional football. By the way, I hate that word. Counter-attack team. Let's go back to proper football talk. Counter-attack. He doesn't just want to be a counter-attack team. That's not what he said. Read the whole article. And people do too much. And I'm sure you all feel this about your own clubs. A manager says something, there's a headline about it, and nobody actually reads what your manager says, and then they run with the headline. So that's not quite what he said, my friend, but thank you. So you guys, Xavi not getting the sack right. Yeah, they started all right, haven't they? I think they're just getting a new deal, Debs. Terry, you gas up most of your team and predicted top 4. So if you don't finish top 6 and don't achieve what you thought, then what will you say? Well, I'll say we really underachieved. I'll say the manager hasn't good enough job. I've never been like Will. I don't know how long you've been watching the Terrace. Just go back and look at the last 7 years of before it was even the Terrace. Look at my content. I've always called out my team for underperforming against what I think we could achieve. I never defend them when it's indefensible. Are the players not as good? Some of our players are not as good. The players at the club, like Scott McTominay as an example, Lindelof as an example, are not good enough, and we need much, much better than those players. Yes, I've been saying that for years. We'll come back to the Chelsea stuff later. Someone get his bottle and dummy, hates opinions. Again, why are you so pressed for, my bro? I don't hate opinions. I'm just trying to see what people have got to say on a deeper level, brother. That's all. Thank you, Sean, for becoming a member. Thank you very much indeed. North London derby, boys. It was a great game. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was one of for me, the best game of football so far this season. It really, really was. As a kind of neutral to it, watching it unfold, there's been a huge amount of fallout. There's Spurs are getting bantered for celebrating draws. Arsenal fans are getting bantered because a lot of them said it was going to be an absolute easy, simplistic walkover. To quote Igal, he said the easiest North London derby ever was upon them. Rory, from your point of view, a lot of people will still look at Arsenal being the better team, but there's also talk, and I've seen this on socials, I've seen some pundits say this today, that Spurs inside 6 games have caught up with Arteta's sort of 3.5 to 4 year project. What was your thoughts on that, plus the overall performance yesterday from Arsenal?
I think the performance from us was definitely below par, especially in the second half, and Declan Rice going off was definitely a part of that. But for the first 35 minutes, it kind of looked like it was going the same way that a lot of us predicted. I think Jesus should have put us 2-0 up, and at that point it would have probably killed the game. But in the second half, we looked poor. And to be fair to Spurs, they were a lot better than I was anticipating. I don't know how sustainable that style of football is, and I think there will be games where they'll get caught out a lot and it will cost them. But they've massively improved, and fair play to them. But it is, I do think people are getting a bit carried away with the praise that they're giving Spurs, because I do think Arsenal let themselves down in the second half.
Yeah, but the reason why they're getting that is because of your fan base was so arrogant. That's the reason why. If you guys were humble and actually respected the fact that Spurs have been a better team this season overall, you wouldn't be holding those mentions already. Yeah,
but I mean, there's this whole, I feel like Arsenal.
I know the thing you don't talking about the arrogance.
Yeah, that's interesting. But there's a thing about Arsenal being arrogant. Ange Postecoglou said that they were gonna turn up at the Emirates and scare the life out of Arsenal. So there's an arrogance there. I think Spurs fans were putting 5 or 6 Spurs players in their combined 11s. I think there was arrogance on both sides, and ultimately, I thought a draw was a fair result based on the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one because, like Terry said, the amount of people today coming at me, well done on your 2-2 win and well done for. And I'm like, come on, man, you guys didn't give us a cat's chance in hell. Like everyone said we were going to get smoked. People on here said we were going to get smoked. No one gave us anything. And I said, I didn't expect
name names.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you're piping up, you were one of them. But, credit to you, because you came out and apologized. And, it takes a big man to say, you know what, I hold my hand up. I got it wrong. Gal, I still didn't get an apology out of him on air. He did send me an inbox video that he put out saying, you know what, I might have got it wrong, blah, blah, blah. And it's just funny because I don't think people Don's even saying, people didn't really look at how we've been playing and respect what we were doing going into the game. And I'm not going to go crazy. It is only 6 games in. I still think Arsenal are a really good team. I'm not going to be here being disingenuous, but I do rate the way we came into the Emirates and played our game of football. We didn't cower to them. Even when we went 1-0 down, we still played our brand of football. Even when Maddison gave the ball away and I went bonkers, the fact that he didn't even see Jesus around us, we still played our brand of football. Maddison still showed for the ball, still wanted to get on the ball and dictate. And Arsenal was smart in what they were doing. They were setting traps. They were allowing us to they were lulling us into a false sense of security. Maybe they took their chance, like Rory said, it would have been a different game. But I still think as well, Arsenal fans and just football fans in general have got to respect the way we came into that game at a very tough place to play. Probably the second best team, if not the best team in the Premier League in terms of how they played the whole of last season and did our thing, And, Sonny was talking the talk last week and he backed his talk on the day. The same as Maddison and same as Ange Postecoglou. And if it's an arrogance or confidence thing, it's a bit of both. But yeah, I liked what I saw. I know it's early days. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we're ahead of Arsenal already. That's crazy because it's still too early or too small a sample size. But you can clearly see the progress. You can clearly see what we're doing. You can clearly see the players that he's brought in and how he wants to play. And I think we gave Arsenal a really good game. I think a draw was a fair result. I see some people saying, if we would have done this, we would have beat you 3-1 or 4-1. Shoulda, woulda, couldas don't really count. Do you know what I mean? Take it for face value on what it was. It was a great game, like Terry said. And when I obviously during the game, my emotions and everything was going on. But when I sit back and rewatched it, it was a high quality game of football.
I actually don't think it was that high quality. I thought Arsenal and Spurs were quite sloppy. I thought out of possession, both teams were really good. But I actually thought the way Arsenal played football is nowhere near our best, and that was partly because of how well and how chaotic Spurs made the game. I thought the midfield, it was chaotic. I think Spurs committed 19 fouls, which I've got no issue with because it worked, and I think that's the way you can get at Arsenal. And again, I thought Spurs were sloppy in the final third as well, and could have done more with the chances that they created. So I thought it was an entertaining game and an exciting game because of how kind of chaotic it was. But I think actually both teams probably will feel like on the ball they should have done better.
But Rory, don't you think that's because the other teams were forcing them into mistakes? I.e., when Gabriel Jesus stole the ball off Maddison, when Maddison stole the ball off I can't remember his name. I skipped my mind. The guy that came on. Yeah, Jorginho. Those type of things. Players working hard off the ball, players cutting down passing angles. These type of things. So people are working hard in offense and defense, i.e., making the game chaotic. But both teams are doing their bit, on and off the ball. And I thought tactically as well, both managers set up and stuck to their ethos and their principles. So it made a good game of football. Like I said, maybe not the highest quality game, but a good game of football for everyone to watch and enjoy.
I actually think
I want to say one thing. I love.
Go ahead.
Let me just say this about the thing because I predicted a 4-1 Arsenal win. I can't lie. I did.
I don't know what you're smoking,
gonna
bro.
slap Spurs. I thought this was gonna be an easy game. I said Spurs are crap, so this is why I told KJ and Terry as soon as the game ended. I'm like, listen, you have to bring me on the top 6. I've publicly apologized on Twitter. This is where the platform so that I made my prediction. So I will publicly apologize to Ange Postecoglou because he deserves a bit more respect for his work. I will not respect Spurs as a football club until they give me some of this shit because I can't have a trophy more than Spurs in the last 10 years. So, give me a trophy, Spurs, and me and you will talk then. But until then, I can't respect you. But look, the guy's doing fantastic work. He's getting so many bums in that team to play good football. So I'm like, it's actually, you have to give him credit. I mean, earlier on.
Wait, who are these bums, Husam, just out of curiosity?
Roy. I know you're the bum expert because you're 14th, but just let me So now, when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, listen, they went to Arsenal. They played their brand of football. I can't lie to you. Some of the passes, some of the styles of play, not a buzzword, like actual style of play and rhythms and patterns that Spurs were pulling off, were actually insane. There was a clip going around on Twitter, a 30-second clip, in which they got the ball from Vicario to a big chance created literally within 30 seconds. Pass, triangle, and then the right back is through, and then it's a pass, and I think it was Saliba or Gabriel who cleared it out for a corner. So we have to give credit to Spurs because Spurs had a fantastic game. But listen, my job is to always ruin parties. All I'm saying is, and I don't want to, I don't want to do too much because the
Be
game
careful
is.
what you say,
is
Husam.
now. Listen, tune into Straight Facts on Friday. That's all I'm saying because I'm going to go into detail. But this bubble is going to burst next Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
Love it. Please do an gal. Keep talking. Keep talking, please. Just
About-
keep going.
Patrick,
You don't have to make.
Have
another
you
apology,
just called
bro.
me a gal, Patrick?
No,
Don't
I
ever
said
disrespect me like that.
do an gal. Do an gal.
No,
Keep
no.
talking
You
and-
know me and
yeah.
Gal ain't the same. Let's not do that now. Neither are Arsenal and Liverpool. You know.
Wait, Patrick, is Maddison injured?
All right, listen, we don't know. The scan was today, so fingers crossed it comes back positive. But he looks
Don,
okay.
how about this? I'd beat them with Maddison.
Right.
How about that?
Question for you, Patrick, that comes from Neeks. Neeks says, why was Son taken off? The win was there for the taking.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
I know. I don't know, to be honest. I think at that point, maybe Ange thought, you know what, let's hold what we've got. Don't be naive and end up losing this game 3-2. That's the only reason I can think behind it, because you bought on Højbjerg. You know, it's not really going to go do anything going forward. Essentially shoring the game up. But they were there for the taking, man. But maybe...
Do you
Ange
regret
wasn't-
that?
Yeah, I do. I personally do, because I think when it was 2-2 and we were pushing, you guys looked a bit shaky. And then I think when we took Son and Maddison off, then you regained control of the game. And even though Richarlison had a chance late on, you looked the stronger team in the latter stages of the extra time. And I think it's obviously we took off our two main threats. So then you guys obviously was able to get back on the ball and push and dictate. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
I thought in the stadium, it felt like when Højbjerg came on and Son and Maddison went off, it felt like we'd been let off the hook a bit. There was a bit of a kind of all right, at least we're probably not going to leave here with a loss. And I felt like there were points where we were there for the taking. At one point, Saka was hobbling around at right back pretty much. And I thought maybe that's the first sign from Ange that, I thought Ange would have gone for the kill. Because you don't often win at the Emirates, and it was a big chance for you to do that. So
I think it was sentimental to Richarlison because he took Son out and put Richarlison in, and I thought that was a very sentimental move. See, genuinely, I thought he played Richarlison because new energy and everything, but you cannot just sit here and convince me that Richarlison should be a footballer in the Premier League. He shouldn't be.
But you hate him though, bro. You need to chill.
No, bro, listen. The way he touches the ball and tries to pass the ball and tries to dribble players, that should not be allowed in the Premier League. I'm sorry. I'm being truly honest here. Yes, you can be a number 9 and everything. He is literally like Calvert-Lewin without the goals. Literally.
I
like
swear he
that.
scored
think
more goals than
Calvert-Lewin-
Calvert-Lewin. I'm sure he scored more goals than Calvert-Lewin.
Anyway,
Patrick, there is no way Richarlison is the hell you want to die on. There is no way.
Nah,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
like,
saying,
come on.
be a bit
With
fair.
that
The
brand
guy's
of
got
football,
50
if you're
he's got
defending
50
Richarlison, you should be screaming, I want this guy
He's
out
got
of the
50
goal. I want to be
Premier
a
League
footballer.
goals. He's got 50 Premier
You
League
know,
goals.
I watched
know
that
that
video
much.
that you were on. You should agree more with Fuad. That guy's done out here, man. He's done. Richarlison's done. out here.
No.
Let
You
it
know what,
go.
no.
It's over, man. It's over.
It's the
Here's
second
here's
season.
I actually think this is probably quite a hot take, but I actually think if Richarlison
Plays
had
for
started
Chelsea.
instead of Brennan Johnson, you would have had a better chance of winning the derby.
What you
No
say, play for
chance.
Chelsea? Don't
No
link him
chance.
to my club, bro.
I
No,
actually
don't do
think
that.
if Richarlison was up front,
Richarlison would start at Chelsea. I don't know why you think that's
Can
a
we,
bad take.
can
Nah.
Let's-
here we
Yes,
go.
he
I'm
would.
with the Chelsea
Nah.
negative.
Bro,
So you're
Emil
telling me Richarlison
Emil
is better
Emil
than
Heskey's been retired. Emil Heskey's been retired 15 years. He starts for Chelsea right now.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, here we
Okay,
go.
now,
Pylon.
can we go back to the
Don't think
Arsenal
it's like,
game?
you lot are slandering
Yeah,
us like I'm gonna defend myself
Going to
when
the Chelsea-
I want to crush as much as you lot do.
The Chelsea barbecue
Words.
later. We'll save it for the
Yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
barbecue later.
Go back
people,
to the
sorry.
Arsenal game. To be honest, I actually
Yeah.
thought-
I just want to give my thoughts on the game
Can I
because,
get my point across? Just
Oh,
quickly?
go on, my God.
I actually sat here and said that Ange Postecoglou is going to try to play the football, but again, Arsenal are going to run the game. And I thought actually the players of Arsenal will be able to play better in the whole 90 minutes. Ange Postecoglou opened the space for Arsenal. It was left 1-on-1 in most of the places on the pitch, but Arsenal players just couldn't do the job. And that tells me that the confidence that these players are playing with now is in the roof. You know what I mean? When you leave your defender 1-on-1 against Saka, you trust him, even after a mistake, to get the second one and the third one right. That's a lot of confidence. That's a lot of credit. And to be honest, this game showed a little bit about Arsenal's players. Some of them are overrated. Really.
Mo, have you got something to bring up about Maddison and Odegaard?
Okay, so
Go through, my brother.
Let's go this down. So So when you say overrated, is that regarding Odegaard or like?
No.
who's
That's
overrated?
not. It's not personal. One or
Okay.
two.
So who's
in my-
overrated at Arsenal then?
For
Who's
me,
overrated?
an example, Saka yesterday should have taken Udogi to the cleaners.
killed
You know what I
him.
mean?
Should have killed
Many times he was left 1-on-1. He dribbled him once, and then after that, Udogi was able to contain him. Gabriel Jesus and Pedro Porro, who was a bum, as Husam said last year. Pedro Porro, we were laughing at Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro was able to play against Gabriel Jesus. Yes, in the first 30 minutes, he had 1 or 2 problems, but the game is 90 minutes. Even Van der Ven, who's new, was able to play. Eddie Nketiah, yes, we don't rate him and everything, but he has Premier League experience. Bissouma, that was crap last year. Odegaard, many times tried to dribble him, couldn't. Declan Rice was running after Maddison. I can name names. My thing about it is that in this game, Ange Postecoglou left Arsenal to play the football they wanted, that PSV, but Arsenal couldn't deliver. So that's a big problem for Arsenal to look at themselves like, how were we left 1-on-1 and we couldn't score that many goals? The goal they scored is a penalty and a deflection, and they had 2 other chances. One of them is a mistake from Maddison. And the other one, 2 dead angles. The Jesus one and the Nketiah from a bad back pass. But if you remember a pattern of play for Arsenal, 1-on-1, someone dribbling, creating something, no. So I'm looking at Arsenal this game, not Spurs. Spurs played the same way they played against Brentford, against Burnley, against everybody. The defense, Saliba was good. Ben White was not bad. But I'm looking at the Arsenal attack and saying, you were very underwhelming for a team that wants to go for the title. That's okay for top 4, not okay for the title.
So what's your thoughts on those 2 names that I mentioned there, Mo?
Listen, I said it many times. Maddison is a superior player to Odegaard. And I said it many times. Odegaard is a fantastic player and everything. But you didn't see Odegaard doing what Maddison did yesterday. And I said it on a video that I shared earlier. Odegaard dictates not only where the game is going to go, but the tempo of the game. Bissouma gets the ball, look for Maddison. Odegaard, sometimes the game goes past him, like in phases. He goes brilliant for 10, 15 minutes, and then there's 10 minutes where he goes missing. Maddison yesterday, until he went off, hobbling on a knee, asking for the ball, in the defensive part, on the right, on the left, everywhere. That's what I mean. Plus, of course, the trickery. He has better trickery 1-on-1 than Odegaard in terms of driving at a player, looking at a player in the eye, and dribble them like an all-time football player, like we used to see Ryan Giggs. We used to see the guys back in the days, the Cristiano, like dribbling at a player 1-to-1. Maddison is superior, in my opinion.
Yeah, the way he spun Saka, that was naughty. That was, and
It's not
you
only
guys are
him,
way too
Declan
much.
Rice as
Yeah.
well. Like in the
Yeah.
middle, Declan Rice is a big guy.
I said it at the time, Mo, that it's not a crazy take. I said it. There was so many Arsenal fans wanted Maddison over
I've been
Odegaard
saying
when he
it. I've
came.
been saying like
There's so many,
Odegaard
and in the chat they
was
were going crazy. They were going crazy at the take. But Mo, I fully heard you, bro. I fully heard you.
I can't lie, you guys are doing too much. Odegaard, like, I don't think Odegaard was that. Listen, if
It
I'm
wasn't
starting-
bad
Odegaard
for
was
Sam.
terrible,
You're not
Sam.
getting
Okay,
my
hear me out,
point.
hear me
It
out.
wasn't bad
Comment.
for Sam. Don't
Okay,
tell
okay,
Sam that I
let
said
me
he's
do a
bad.
monologue for 3 minutes. Let me respond.
Go
When
ahead.
it comes to Odegaard, okay, if I'm starting a team tomorrow, I'm taking Odegaard over what's his name, Maddison. The reason why, if you're telling me Maddison is maybe a better big game player, okay, but overall, I think Odegaard got a lot more to his game and got much bigger potential than Maddison. Odegaard could become if in 3 years from now, Odegaard could become the best midfielder in the entirety of Europe. I don't think Maddison has that potential. And also, Maddison is very injury prone. That's another thing. Also, when you're talking about stuff like dribbling, there's something that you can't teach. Odegaard could get better at dribbling. He could build up his confidence. He could shoot more. But Odegaard's IQ, for me, is what separates him from many midfielders. And
I've
that
got a
IQ
question
can
for
be
you, Sam.
taught.
Though, you
That's
know
why I
when you
rate
say, when you say that you think Odegaard's got more in his locker than Maddison. Yeah, do you think that Odegaard would be able to put up the same performances in that Leicester team to what Maddison was doing? Because what Husam's been describing,
Absolutely.
so not Husam, sorry, what Mo's been describing about Maddison is that he wants to be involved from 0 to 90 minutes. Do you get it? There's so many times over the years. Look, Odegaard's a good player. I rate Odegaard. I like him. I would love him at Chelsea. Yeah, I'm not slandering here before Arsenal fans get a bit sensitive. Yeah, all I'm saying is I see Odegaard ghost a lot in a lot of games, and especially in big games as well. He goes missing a lot, and even the own fan base says this about him, right? I don't see Odegaard doing what Maddison was doing in that Leicester team, because Odegaard is more of he needs to be in a system to see the best out of him, in my opinion. I think that's
The only thing
cherry
that's
on top.
overdone when you say he doesn't perform in big games. I mean, he scored I swear
Nah,
he scored
he has
goal
performed.
against
He's
Man
performed.
United, against Arsenal,
he's-
against Liverpool, Chelsea, everyone.
He's performed in big games. I can give you examples of where he has performed in big games, but I can also give you examples where he hasn't performed in big games. So when you're saying that you think Odegaard's got more than Maddison, I don't agree. I think Maddison offers a lot more than what
Maddison's
Odegaard
only
does.
played in two.
Odegaard got more here.
Maddison's only played in 2 big games in his whole career. 2.
Yeah,
Because
you're
he
gonna
only
do.
now-
Of course, yes, of
Because
course.
he's only now just moved. Listen, I think Maddison's excellent, and I'm not putting him down at all. He played well against Manchester United. He was very good yesterday, but they are the first 2 big games that he's played in. When you're at Leicester, listen, and he wasn't there in the title-winning season. The way teams set up and play against you is different to when you play against Arsenal's, Chelsea. It's a very different game of football. Lingard would never do for United or for Chelsea or for Arsenal what he did at West Ham. There are players, and look, part of me thinks that about Brighton. A lot of people go, I'd love all those Brighton players. Listen, you suddenly put Pascal Gross in a team where he's playing up against low blocks every week. I guarantee you he's not as good. I'm not saying he won't be good, but there's a different level when you go to a big... I always remember listening to an interview with Ashley Young, and the season before Man United bought him, he was the most creative player on the left-hand side in the Premier League, create more chances than anybody else. The level of chances halved the following season. And he did an interview on MUTV, and they said, what's been the main difference? He went, when I played for Aston Villa, I often had one player to worry about, like a fullback, or no one, because there was space to run into. He says, at Man United, every time I attack, there's at least 2 players ahead of me to defend against. The world changed. And I think that has to be taken into consideration when you review this. And I think the same with Tottenham. Tottenham have been brilliant so far this season, and they deserve credit. But it's a new style. People are not used to it yet. And I don't like the expression they're not taking Liverpool, Spurs seriously. I think that's a bit of a backhanded compliment. But teams are quite open against them, and they will change and adapt. And that's why I'm saying celebrate, Spurs fans, be happy. But I would take Patrick's approach of being reserved and not getting ahead of ourselves. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but twice I remember Everton starting seasons like this. Their first season under Roberto Martinez in 2013-14. And they did this, I believe it was in the 2021 season when Ancelotti came in. They started well and they faded. Now,
They've done it once with Moyes as well. They had 13 out of 15 points.
Yeah, but Moyes has been at the club a long time. I'm talking about a new manager, first start this season and a spike. And I'm not saying Spurs are going to fall off in the same way those 2 teams did. But I think they've got to enjoy what they're doing. And remember, there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. I think Spurs are also being used, the same as Maddison, as a tool to beat rivals over the head with. Maddison's better than Odegaard. Oh, my God, they've got a starter player after 6 games. What are Chelsea and Man United doing? As if that's the only way it's ever been done and the only way success has ever been created. And I think that Spurs fans need to make sure they don't get dragged in to the overhype and the tool that they're being used for, which is to attack other people with. I see Spurs playing well, and I see people on Sky Sports attacking my club with it when we're nothing to do with the game. That's the bit that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with.
Sorry, just to clarify.
Even though I think Tottenham have been amazing, and I think Maddison's been great, comparing him to a player that's been at the elite end of the spectrum for many, many years, you've got to leave it a little bit longer first. We've seen a lot of players
Who has
move
been
to
in
big
the
teams.
elite spectrum? I'm sorry.
Wait.
Odegaard.
Oh, hang on, Odegaard's been playing for one of the biggest teams in Europe for the last 2 or 3 years. Yes or no?
He has been playing. He didn't even play.
Does that mean he's better than Maddison the whole time?
No. I need to answer.
Slow down, everyone. Slow down.
Same as Brahim Diaz playing for Real Madrid. Being on the squad and having a game in, game out doesn't mean
Hang on. So
part
Odegaard's
of
been,
that team.
hang on.
He's been at Arsenal.
Arsenal. You're telling me
Okay, Arsenal. I'm not.
that's what I'm trying to slow everyone down for. You're telling me that he hasn't been a regular player for one of the biggest teams in Europe for the last few years.
Yeah, but Terry, Odegaard, when he was on loan, wasn't the player that we're seeing now. Like we saw it in flashes.
He progressed. Hang on, but he progressed. Yes, he's got better. But also, hang on. 3 years ago, he was 21 years old. Like we're talking about a young man still at that point, and he's 2 years younger than Maddison as well. I think Maddison's great. I've wanted him in the England squad. I'd have liked Man United to buy him. I am not slagging him off. I think though, after 2 appearances in top 6 clashes, to say better than Odegaard's clear, I think it's premature. I think it's far too early.
It is premature. It is premature.
Hold on. Wait, Rory, let me land my. Go on.
I said that before even the season starts.
Exactly. That's the point. This is a conversation that was happening in general, not about this season after 6 games. Or now Maddison's better.
But you don't know in general.
This is something. Yeah, but Mo's already spoken about it, and these debates have been happening before.
But you don't know in general. You don't know in general because they've not been playing under the same conditions. That is when you realize.
What you're saying?
Can I answer that?
Guys, let me finish my point.
Every single player like Newcastle have or something.
Just let me finish my point. When we're talking about the elite end of the spectrum, when you play for a big team, the pressure, the stakes are different. Teams approach the game against you in a different way. Matt Letizia is one of the best technicians the Premier League's ever had. But I don't put him on par with anyone in his era that was playing for Chelsea, that was playing for Man United, that was playing for Arsenal. The difference in pressure and the way teams set up against you changed things. I said the same thing about Harry Kane. I think he's one of the best strikers in the world. But until he's playing in a team that's in title races and that has pressure on to win every single match, I'm not going to judge him on the same level as strikers with his technical ability. Maddison's had 6 games at a big club and 2 matches against other big teams. To say that he's better than players that have been doing it for 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, because of 2 performances, I think it's premature.
But Terry, then, so what you're doing now, then
I
you're
don't get where Terry's coming from here because Odegaard has done it only last year.
Only last year that he was at that level
and
that
the year
you're seeing
before.
now. No, he wasn't at that level.
Roy, the year
Okay,
before,
so
Leicester.
So 2 years versus 2.
No.
No, but Terry, what you're kind of doing now is moving the goalposts because what you're saying
No, I'm
is
not. No, I'm not.
because Maddison.
I can't be moving the goalposts when I've maintained this logic for the last 7 years since I've been on.
Yeah,
social.
but I don't agree with that logic because you're basically saying that because Maddison played for Leicester and teams are more expansive against Leicester because of how they play, and he's playing for Spurs right now, and teams are more open against them. Maddison can't play well in a low block, in a team that will be facing low blocks weekly. For example, a Man City, for example, a Man United, for example, a Chelsea. I think Maddison can play for these teams and comfortably perform. I don't agree with that he can only play in teams that are open.
You're entitled to an opinion, but you don't have evidence.
100%.
You don't have evidence of that yet. So for me, I've seen this happen in my lifetime watching football. And this is what I think happened to Mason Mount at Chelsea. When he came to your club, no one knew how to really play against him. Started off quite well. First couple of years at Chelsea, did well, right or wrong?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, cool. And then what happens is the tacticians watch and go, right, if we do X, if we do Y, if we do Z, if we put him on his left foot, put him on his right foot, put a man on him, whatever it may be, we can nullify him. What Mason Mount hasn't done yet is adjust to how teams approached him. But again, Maddison is soon going to get looked at by teams going, right, Spurs play attacking football, we've got to sit back deeper. Maddison's great at this. They're going to put a tactic on him. The tacticians and the coaches are going to go, right, this is how we stop him. That's been happening now to Odegaard for at least 2 years, and he's found ways to adapt to make himself better. Until I see a player tested at that level, I'm not going to say they're better than somebody else. And that isn't because it's Maddison versus an Arsenal player or a Liverpool player versus a Man United player. I maintain that logic at all times due to 35 years of watching football and seeing players come from smaller teams. And when they first arrive, they do really well. And a lot of them can fade. Equally, some players come in, they start poorly and they get better over the course of time. 6 games at a big club and 2 big clashes, I just don't think makes him outright better.
Yeah,
Technically, you can say that he is, but you don't have a body of work to say he's better yet. You just
Can
don't.
I answer Terry then? Let me answer Terry. In the season
I don't agree with that.
last
I
year,
don't agree with that
is the only last year is the only year where Leicester had less than 50% possession average of the season. The year before, okay, Arsenal and Leicester both have very close percentage of ball possession. That means the team set up exactly the same against them. Maddison had better stats. Before that, Odegaard played only 14 games and people wanted him out, so you cannot compare him because he was 21 years old. Okay, but what I mean is that you said that teams don't sit back against Leicester. That was only last year. Before that, Leicester finished in the top 8, and they were always in the top 6 in terms of ball position. That means they were a progressive team.
I understand that. So let me just ask you a question, because we can agree to disagree. I'm not
100%.
Hang on. Let me ask my question though. We can agree to disagree. So I just want to ask you this question. You think teams play the same against Leicester as they do against the Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpools? Do you think they approach Leicester? Do you think they approach Leicester in the same way in the last few years as they do those teams?
Yes, for the season before last, yes.
Okay, no, if you believe that, I
100% believe that. For the season before last, stats show that. I'm not gonna remember games, but the seasons before that, as you said,
Leicester were
people
kicking
saw
balls
that.
before that.
People said that Arsenal play. One of the things that we said that we thought Arteta in the first 2 years play pragmatic football, and that's my evidence here. Arsenal last year they improved massively, but before that, Leicester used to play very good football and finished ahead of Arsenal before last season, twice ahead of Arsenal. That's the proof.
Here's the thing for me, right? Here's the thing for me. Because right now teams can neutralise to an extent Arsenal by having a player sit on Odegaard. It happened last season in certain games. It's a way of neutralising Arsenal is to have a player sit on Odegaard. You double up on Saka and you have someone sit on Odegaard. Until James Maddison faces that same sort of thing, because I think if you do sit a player on James Maddison, that will massively dampen the attacks and the creativity that Spurs have. Until he shows that he can deal with that in a better way than Martin Odegaard does, I just don't think he can be argued as a better player than Odegaard because he doesn't have to deal with
I think
that.
we love to do Arsenal like fuck. Everyone just likes to do fuck Arsenal. The reality is Maddison hasn't hit Odegaard last season levels. That's just the reality in my opinion. Last season, the guy got like 15, 16 non-penalty goals from his position. He was the Arsenal captain, was part of them being in a title race, was, according to many people, their best player. I can't lie. I hear why people are disagreeing with Terry's logic, but this season, he is right. Like, he's only played 2 big games so far, the United and the Arsenal game. So we need a bigger sample size. If this continues maybe until March, April time, then we'll speak then. But right now, if I'm starting a franchise tomorrow and I'm picking one of them, I'm taking Odegaard. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fine. But all I'm saying is, with Terry's logic, it doesn't matter what he does for Spurs. He can be performing week in, week out, hit all these, targets and all these figures and that, yeah. But because he plays for Spurs and it's not Arsenal, it's not United, it's not City, it doesn't count. That's what I'm hearing from the logic.
Can I tell you why that's cap? Can I tell you why that's cap right now? Because of Harry Kane. No one said that shit when Harry Kane was a Spurs striker. Everyone said, people last season, Don, said Harry Kane's better than Haaland. If Harry Kane played for Man City, he would have scored 50 goals. How many times do you hear that statement? So I don't think that's fair at all. You are saying, just because it's Spurs.
But I think Maddison will be perfect for Arsenal.
Don, let me respond. Let me respond. So firstly, I didn't say that because I've said that he's only now just moved to a big team. It depends on who you're comparing him to in the context. So for instance, when people compare Harry Kane to Luis Suarez clear. Because I've seen Luis Suarez deliver in multiple title races, multiple major finals. That's a different pressure to playing in a normal Premier League game or being in a top 4 race, as an example. And the reason why I believe that I'm right has nothing to do with my emotions or feelings. It's listening to these football players talk. The difference of playing... Go look up the quotes of what Berbatov said, the difference that he felt before walking out on the pitch for Man United versus walking out on the pitch for Tottenham, the difference in pressure and expectation. So your ability is one thing, but handling that new expectation is another. Harry Kane himself has said it in the last few weeks, and I know Spurs fans hated it, but they know in their heart of hearts it's true, that he can win 3 games on the bounce for Bayern, it not be convincing, and they get slaughtered, where they could lose 2 games on the bounce of Tottenham and it's still okay. That's a different pressure. He delivers at Bayern regularly, especially in the Champions League. Under that pressure, you're a different level of football player, because when you get to the top end of that elite spectrum, the difference between people isn't often technical ability. It's their ability to handle that pressure. And the more title races and the more finals you're in, and the bigger the club you play for, typically the better the player you are, because you're handling more pressure and you're in more pressured environments and delivering on a more regular basis. So, of course, Maddison can get to that standard. Of course he can. But I think after 2 games to outright just say he is better, I think it's a little bit premature. I want to see him do it a little bit more first. I'm not saying, again, as Sam just said, if he keeps doing this and performing in the big games, small games and delivering, you will see nobody praise him more than me, because I don't have agendas. But like I say about great managers, to be a great manager, you've got to win back-to-back league titles in a major country and the Champions League. And if you don't achieve that, I don't put you in the great category. The only caveat I have to that is a man that's won the most ever Champions League.
You've got
I have certain standards that I put every player to, whether they play for my club or your club, and I don't yield on that ever.
Yeah, Terry, you've got a good point when you talk about pressure, and I definitely agree with you. Like, there is different pressures that come with playing for different clubs, yeah. But I can talk about Odegaard crumbling under pressure last season. I can talk about him when they went away to the Etihad, where he didn't do anything in that title race. I can talk about him going away at Anfield and was a ghost on the pitch. Yeah, but yeah, he's meant. No, hold on. Let me
Go
just land my point because
on.
he's the captain, right? He's the captain, and you're saying that he's at a big club and needs to handle that pressure. He couldn't handle that pressure last season at the Etihad. He couldn't handle that pressure last season at Anfield. He couldn't handle that pressure even at the Bridge in that crap team. He didn't do anything when we played them. Yep. So there's multiple examples where Odegaard hasn't been able to handle the pressure in this breakout season that he's had.
I hear you. So let me ask you this question: can you tell me about James Maddison's performances in those big games in the title race, please?
Oh yeah, well, obviously there's no.
So again, hang on. So the conversation isn't who's good, it's two players against each other. So when you're comparing them, you have to look at their overall careers. So you can argue. I would disagree that Odegaard's choked in some big games, but Maddison hasn't even been in them big games yet, and he's delivered in some of them. So the examples you're using as to why Odegaard isn't as good, you can't even use him as an example for Maddison because he's not been in that position yet, bro.
I'm not saying that's why.
It's like a boxer that's never had a world title fight saying I'm better than the guy that's lost 3 world title fights. You haven't even got to that level yet. So for me, I understand where you're coming from, and I think Maddison's amazing. But I just think after 2 big games in his whole career, it's a little bit premature. And look, he might end up being the better guy. There's elements of his game that I think's amazing, and 4 assists, 2 goals. I think he's one of the highest chance creators in the league. Maddison's had an impeccable start. Him and Szoboszlai, my 2 signings of the season so far, if I'm going to be really objective about it. I wanted to ask another question about Arsenal, boys. I wanted to ask a question about Arsenal before doing some super chats. Are they in need, Rory, of a striker? I've seen a lot of people today say the lack of prolific striker is what's damaging you right now. Do you agree with that take?
No, not really. I think the fact that Nketiah had to play, I do think a lot of where we ended up lacking yesterday was down to Nketiah. But again, like, you can't plan for both of your left wing options being injured for the same game. Like Martinelli and Trossard both being out resulted in Nketiah starting. And it's like, yeah, you can bring in a striker so that doesn't happen. But then once Trossard and Martinelli are fit and Jesus is playing down the middle, you've got a striker sat there that might not get any game time. So it's difficult to get the balance. And again, you can bring in an Ivan Toney in January. Brilliant. And for everything you gain from Ivan Toney in a different sense, you lose in other areas in terms of the build-up play and the creativity that we see from Jesus. So I think it's a difficult one. It would be good to have it as an option, but I think it's a luxury that we probably can't afford at the moment.
Before I let Roy defend Ivan Toney, because he's been, Roy is probably the one guy on this planet that's invested in Ivan Toney's stocks before even maybe Ivan Toney himself. Here's the thing with this. I completely disagree with what Rory's saying. This is the first time I'm going to disagree all stream. And the reality is Ivan Toney is a level above Jesus, in my opinion, because he provides you the Jogo Bonito element, which is the creativity element, the ability to dribble, get around people, etc. And he's a goal scorer at the same time. So he's the best of both worlds. Now, for me, if his name was Ivan Tonino, the whole thing would be different because his name's Ivan Toney. And it just doesn't sound that appealing. Maybe people are underestimating his creative ability. I can't lie, Roy was onto something last season because he's been pushing this Ivan Toney boat. And the more you watch him, the more you see, like, this guy can create chances and he can put the ball in the back of the net and he can dribble when need be. Like, Ivan Toney is a problem for everyone. Even, by the way, even last season we saw it against Man City, home and away. I think Brentford was the only team, I swear, to beat them home and away, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they beat them, yep.
Yeah, they beat them home and away. And Ivan
minute,
Toney played a massive part of both games because he's clinical. He's that type of guy. So for me, I completely disagree. I think Ivan Toney would actually take Arsenal's attack to the next level, and Arsenal fans would stop bitching about Saka being defended by 2 players. Toney would create that space for him.
Those half chances that Jesus misses, even full chances at times, Tony's burying them, bro.
I think if Toney displaces Maddison, there's no way he's not finding the back of the net there, personally. But with Arsenal's attack in general, like, I get why they all love Jesus because he can hold up the ball. Like, he's a good false nine. He can drop deep, do his thing. But at the end of the day, like, you're paid. Jesus is paid to be a box presence and score goals. And when you're dropping deep so much and attacks build up quickly around you, you're not always going to be where you need to be at the right time. And that's a problem with Jesus' game. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad striker because he's not. He's not clinical. That's also the second bit. So in games where, listen, there's going to be one chance in the box and it's do or die. This is either 1 point, 3 points, or no points on the line. I don't think Jesus can be trusted And like I said, he offers so much in terms of how he is in possession and how much of a fantastic technician he is. But he is paid to put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't think he does that consistently enough, nor does his game allow him to get in the right positions enough for him to take Arsenal above City. Because, like I said, you guys challenged City last season and potentially could have won the title if Saliba didn't get injured. But we're not talking about being on the same level as City. We're talking about being above them, because that's how you win the league. Because Liverpool were on the same level as City for ages, and they didn't stiff a league title until City took an off season. So for me, I think someone who's a striker who can get you 20 goals, which Ivan Toney did last season, I personally think that is what will take Arsenal to the next level. And when I say next level, I don't mean the same as City. I mean potentially above them. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm saying it will put them in a great position, because Jesus' game is nice, but you can't trust him to put away those once in a game chances. And also, he's not always exactly where he is in the box. Like if Jesus had Nketiah's fox in the box instincts, he would be so much better as he is. But the fact that he lacks the fox in the box instincts that Nketiah has, on top of the
composure,
on top of the composure to finish off those a lot of easy chances that he does get,
he goes for a lot of power all the time, man.
Me back.
Yeah, and Roy, stop giving those secrets away. We need him, brother. We need him.
He ain't gonna join
He's not going to Chelsea.
Chelsea, man.
This is every single day. I've literally got a Bible in my room right now. God, please, if you're listening to me,
or actually, he might go to Chelsea because you do
destroy his move to Arsenal. I've never prayed.
Wouldn't it be amazing? Imagine during his whole ban that he still has as many goals as your front line, bro. It's crazy. Like another time.
I wouldn't be surprised if he scored the same amount.
I won't be surprised, bro. I won't be surprised, Terry, man.
It's crazy. We've got some super chats here I want to do. This one here says, Sam, don't give chest about beating Spurs. We do our talking once we win. Let's keep Liverpool under the radar. How can you keep the second biggest team in England, one of the biggest teams in the world, under the radar?
Second in the table. How can you go under the radar?
First of all, Terry, we are the biggest team. Second of all, when it comes to this, son, you know my problem sometimes with my fan base. This is my problem. If I tell Terry I'm worried about a game, oh, you're negative. And if I say we're going to win, don't jinx it. Bro, like, what the fuck? Like, I think we're going to win next week. I'm a Liverpool Football Club supporter. I'm supposed to be afraid of fucking Spurs. I'm good, bro. We're going to win next week.
I like that. I don't know who this person's name is, but they said last season was Arsenal's golden opportunity to finally win a league title. Don't let Terry gas you up, Arsenal fans. You're a good top 4 team. That's it. I mean, I predicted them to come second, so I don't know what I'm gassing them up to. Like,
I do have a nasty feeling. Maybe last season was the time. The way
they missed that train.
They missed that train. Arsenal might have missed that opportunity.
January was that perfect opportunity. You wanted to go get Jorginho instead of Caicedo. Good luck.
Yeah, because
I'm sure Caicedo's so happy right now.
Can you imagine though if they got
Caicedo would have been better for you.
This here says I tried to sleep on this and then woke up angrier after the game. We simply gave it away. Arteta and the players gave it away. They weren't serious. The mentality stinks, and the goal celebrations rubbed me the wrong way.
What? So you score a goal in a North London derby. Would you want them to just quietly walk back to the halfway line? I think that got picked up on the TV maybe by Gary Neville, that they over celebrated. Just weird analysis.
I will be fair. Arsenal are the only club I've ever heard that term used for, over celebrating. I don't know. It's
actually true. I haven't heard that used for any other team, to be honest.
And it gets used all the time. We over celebrated certain wins last season when we scored in the final minute. Like,
listen, you got to live in the moment, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. You see Jurgen Klopp after like a normal win go up to the crowd and do the "Hey, hey," and that's fine. And then other people just clap their fans and they go, "Stop over." It is weird. Liverpool and City aren't this naive. They aren't this mentally weak. Same mistakes and lack of clinality. It's why I can't fully be confident with this team. The one time I felt chest let me down. That's why you feel disappointed. This here says, yesterday proved that Lego Head is not a serial winner. He's too busy micromanaging the phases and the structures and forgot about the 3 points.
Hey, Wade, you're funny. You're a funny guy, man.
It's a funny super
Hey,
chat.
shouldn't listen to Pochettino, man. Protect the point.
This here says, by the way, Rice, typical English midfielder, a ball in a china shop, Southgate in, man. He knows he has overhyped players, and that's why he parks the bus.
I thought you were describing Conor Gallagher, man. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man.
I saw a stat today which says Arsenal have 9.83 non-penalty goals XG, which is 11th in the league. #AngeBall, all the support from California, Terry. I'll be honest with you, I don't quite know what that means. Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
It's bad,
Okay.
but I mean, yeah.
Odegaard, listen, this guy has got hyped when he had an okay season at Sociedad, and we thought Madrid would bring him back. Nope, sold. Perez knows ball.
Nah, I think Zidane messed up there, to be honest. Selling him.
Yeah, but look at the midfielders that they had at the time, though. It's not really a mess up.
No,
at the time.
like I said, as in obviously they had Kroos and Modric. Like, who's really going to replace those two? But
Yeah.
I still feel like they could have phased him in, and he could have become slowly a more prominent player. But he didn't even give him a sniff.
That wave
I mean, when you're
guy's
still winning,
racked up,
when you're still winning Champions Leagues and that, you know, you can't really.
Yeah, of course. As in, like, you can't question his method. I won 3 Champions Leagues in La Liga, so you can't question his method.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like there was definitely room for him to fit into that team.
Yeah. Here we go with the Saka agenda. Odegaard was backing up and getting roasted in the first half and carded. What the F are you talking about? Beasts love red meat.
I do think we Saka and the rest of the team should have tried to capitalize on that, though.
Yeah.
We let them
Saka
off
should
by
have been
not
relentless.
targeting him. Yeah.
Next week, the best player in the league will show you how to capitalize. Don't worry.
Madrid sold Odegaard with a buyback option because of a fallout.
Without a buyback option.
After a fallout. After a fallout with Zidane, he is perfect for mediocre Arsenal where fans celebrate second. Odegaard and Maddison have been playing against the same competition for the last 3 years. No, I agree with that. I'm not disputing that fact at all. That isn't my point.
One got relegated.
I can only tell you as an ex-sportsman.
Won the FA Cup.
He did win the FA Cup against your boys. He did, and he does. That's why I think Maddison, and that's why I think Maddison's a top player. But I can only. Who else here has been a professional sportsman who's competed for their country? Anyone else done that? I have. So I know the difference when I went from being at club level to fighting at national level to fighting at the world championships, and the difference in pressure you feel is massive, and the difference in performance and the difference in accolades when you win. And ironically, you'd beat people at world championships and get praised more than when you beat them at open tournaments. The pressure was different, bigger crowds, bigger numbers, bigger.
You know what, Terry? Yeah? I would hear that logic more if Maddison can put the trophies that he's winning at Arsenal on the table in comparison to. Sorry, if Odegaard was putting the trophies on the table that he's won at Arsenal in comparison to Maddison, because right now it's all just if buts and maybes right now, and there's evidence of Odegaard not turning up in big moments.
No, I hear you. So I'm not saying it's all one way. I'm just saying that I want to see him a few more times in big games in a team that's expected to win, versus the team that's considered the underdog in most of their big games. And we'll do it now. Listen, having that trophy is a notch on his bedpost that Odegaard doesn't have. There's no doubt about it. Again, I'll reiterate for the 7th or 8th time, Maddison is amazing. I just think some of the praise has been a little bit premature. Imagine sacrificing sleep to watch 11 boys run around for 90 minutes, literally doing nothing, and have a manager playing a centre-back at left-back. Our on-field captain couldn't get into the starting 11 in a Sunday League team. Keep the blue flag flying high. That's from a Chelsea fan. I would assume. I didn't know what team you were talking about until the end, until I saw the last bit. But thank you for that lovely donation, my friend. We'll be moving on to Chelsea soon. Who gets Thomas. Chelsea's goal of the month? Watkins or Elanga? That's funny. Coutinho thought he was world-class until he went to Barca. I mean, just look at half the guys at Forest that suddenly look better in the Forest team than they did at the bigger clubs they were at. Terry, by that logic, Saliba can't be compared to Stones, Diaz, Van Dijk, Matip, or Akanji. He's not on Stones, Diaz, Van Dijk level. technically, yes, you can argue that, but those men have won titles. Those men have done it more consistently over a longer period of time. Their legacies and their careers and them at their peak, all of them have surpassed Wesley Bridge right now because he hasn't done what they've done. 100%.
I think he's better than the last two, but he's not better than the first three.
Yeah, and again, and the last.
My God, you're so sad, Roy.
So,
Man.
again,
Don't disrespect Joel Matip like that. Relax.
Oh, bro, you would trade Matip for Saliba in a heartbeat. Allow
I
it,
would,
man.
but that's not the point.
Nah, he's not better than Stones. Yeah, I thought about that, though.
Didn't Maddison help Leicester win the FA Cup? Yes, he did. No, if I remember, he was pretty good in that game. He was pretty good.
Tielemans scored that banger.
But also Maddison, not Maddison. Maddison didn't he win the Copa del Rey with Real Sociedad, which is equally as good an achievement as a Leicester winning an FA Cup? Would you not say?
I've got no idea, but what I do know is that he was played on the right when he was over there.
Okay, so you've got no idea if winning
the you can play multiple
with Real Sociedad is not as good as Leicester, is not on par with Leicester winning the FA Cup.
I said I've got no idea if he won it. I don't know if he won it.
No, he does. I'm reading it here. He won it. Oh, right, okay.
If Maddison falls off, you all are going to be in a bad position. Telling you right now.
Hopefully the goalposts don't move in a couple of weeks, maybe. This here says we need to watch out. Pep took our treble. It feels like he's going for Arsenal's undefeated season. Bloody hope not.
If they do that and then win it 4 years in a row,
I think there's only realistically two fixtures where I think, you know what, there's a decent chance they lose. The first one is against Spurs away because for some reason they always lose that fixture, and the second one's at Anfield because at least Liverpool got a home crowd that can probably at least get them over the line. Anything else?
And the third one is the Emirates in 13 days' time without Rodri.
Oh, we'll see what happens because when they went to the Emirates last season,
Rice is injured, ain't he?
Well, the way it looked yesterday, Rory.
Nah, Rice should be back, and Martinelli, and Trossard,
Rory.
and maybe even Thomas Partey. So,
you sure you want to be confident, Rory?
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. If City were to do the invincible, then again, this would be the greatest English team of all time. I think they already are, to be honest. City have already surpassed everyone other than the two great Man United team, but they've surpassed every other Premier League team.
And my team in the 80s.
Well, I said Premier League team. I didn't watch those teams, so I can't judge.
Yeah, we're not talking about people who are playing that style.
No, it's not a dig. It's not a dig. I can't judge how good those teams were when I haven't watched them play. It's like when I see 18-year-olds say Ryan Giggs was overrated. It's like, brother, he retired when you were still in your mum's tit. Do you know what I'm saying? Slow down. Maddison would also get folded by Rodri and City. Listen, it's going to be a great battle when he goes up against him. Terry, would you play Mount on the right wing tomorrow? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Why is that delusional Liverpool fan don't stick to his 9-to-5 job because he knows nothing about football? Maddison is way better, is what Michael Ramsey says.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Way better is when people take it to the extreme. It's
let's
way better. He's miles ahead. Me picking Maddison doesn't mean Odegaard is not good.
No, I agree.
Take it to the next level,
Odegaard's cold, bro. Ceiling's high
it's
as well.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy got 23 GA last year.
Nitpicking here between two brilliant players, but again, the FIFA generation, everything. If you don't like it, it's crap. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hate the word clear, man. It's such an annoying word. People, this person's clear of this person, clear of this. It's such,
Man United fans will be singing, "We'll be running up the road, we'll be running up the hill" by Katie Bush if they go to the Europa League. I don't know what that song is, but thank you very much.
Stranger Things.
Right, yeah. Arsenal fans celebrated a 2-1 defeat to City.
What?
I do. No, I remember that game.
That was on New Year's Day, wasn't it?
They didn't celebrate it, but I get
when
you.
Rodri scored the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some more super chats to come. I know a lot of you have super chat, but it's about Chelsea. So I'm actually going to put them up. Actually, we'll do the Chelsea super chats later. But Chelsea boys, let's go through some of the stats here. 2 wins in your last 18 Premier League games, 12 points in those games as well. No goals in your last 3 matches. 39 points in your last 38 Premier League games. And the kiss of death maybe has started for Poch today, because while we've been live, Matt Law has done the tweet that says Todd Bowley and the board are in full support of Maurizio Pochettino. And typically, clubs start tweeting that, pushing that information out when things start to get a little bit on top. But Chelsea's start to the season has been horrendous by any club standard. let alone a team that spent £400 million this summer and £1 billion in totality. Roy, what's going wrong at the club? And is this a case of backing the manager and giving him time? Or do you think, as per Simon Jordan today, that the manager is also accountable for how bad you have been so far this season?
Where do I start? Where do I start with this club that just loves to put me through emotional heartache? Well, firstly, I never wanted Poch. And anyone who knows me, Husam knows me, he sees all my tweets, he's been on Spaces a million times. He knew that I was very, very, very vocal when we were linked with Poch. So I just want to play a bit of audio. This is from a football. It's not going to get you copyright strike. It's from a previous Football Terrace where a certain manager from West London was discussed in comparison with a certain manager from North London, the White side. And this is what I said.
I would have rather had Ange than Poch. I've said it from day one. I wanted Ange over Poch. And I know people are going to act as if I'm crazy.
They act like I was crazy.
I believe tactically, Ange is a superior manager. And in terms of how his football translate into the current Prem with our squad, I think he would do better than Poch.
Wow. And Terry, you were the host. I did not get a good response, did I? They said, oh, he's only managed in Scotland. He's only managed in Australia and Japan. Oh, blah, blah, blah. What did I tell you lot? Anyway, I don't even want to talk about Ange. At the end of the day, we appointed a subpar tactician. So if you give a squad full of young players who need young players they're like budding plants. You need to give them light. You need to give them water. You need to give them everything like good quality soil. They need all of this stuff to develop and grow into fantastic, like proven players. And right now, what we're doing is we're trying to grow a plant in a dark room with no water. That's literally what we're doing right now.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I always say the system is the most important thing in football. The system is the most important thing. And right now, Pochettino is adopting a poor system. Why is Levi Colwill playing left back when you've got Chilwell, Cucurella, and Maddison all available to you? You're playing a centre back over all of them. Why is Conor Gallagher someone who was used as the high pressing 8, someone who can get into the box, who can score the occasional goal at Palace? Why is he being used deeper than Enzo Fernandez, someone who's known for getting on the ball? Yeah, why is he being used deeper than Enzo, someone who's been used for getting on the ball in the first phase? He's a top 2 progressive passer in the world. He can clip a ball over the top and create something from there. Like, he knits things together in the centre of the pitch. Why is that happening? Why is Ben Chilwell playing left wing? Why is Ben Chilwell playing left wing? Like, these are all 4 examples of just poor player profiling alongside the terrible system, the horrible subs, the bad selections. Like, all of it, it's a complete shit show right now. And I'm going to be honest, 70% of the blame is at Poch's door. I'm sorry. Because this squad had the easiest schedule in the whole division. We had the 20th hardest schedule in the whole division. It wasn't even particularly close either. Like, if you look at all the metrics that were measuring it, it was not close.
Bro, you couldn't have asked for anything better for a new manager coming in.
Honestly,
you couldn't have asked for anything better, bro.
And you have the easiest schedule you could possibly ask for. Like, if you sort with anyone else, your games get tougher. And we're stuck on 1 win out of 6, which was against a team that shouldn't even be here. Let's be honest, Luton Town should not be here. They're nowhere near Premier League quality. So that's what I'm saying. 70% of the blame lies at Poch's door, because I've seen teams with, like, anyone who doesn't believe that the majority of blame lies with Poch, anyone in the comments who disagrees, please tell me why Adingra, Lallana, Matoma, and Welbeck went to Old Trafford last week and tore United a new one. Do you know why they tore United a new one? It's because their system is
Terry just got that straight. That's crazy.
Sorry, Terry. I know it's
For no reason.
Like,
it's like, why?
How did Adingra, Lallana, Welbeck, and Matoma
to the other side?
just Old Trafford?
Nah, Roy, keep cooking. Keep cooking, bro. Keep cooking.
Like, it makes no sense. So 70% of the blame lies at Poch's door until he fixes this system. Because I don't know how Nkunku's injury just made you throw shit at the wall and just completely go. Everything went tits up when Nkunku got injured, which isn't excusable. Because the system in pre-season, I actually thought it looked semi-decent. I didn't rate it crazy highly, but it looked a lot better than the shit we're seeing now. So you ditched all
It was
your
something to
ideas
build
that
from.
you've been
It was
training-
something to build from.
Yeah, you ditched all the ideas you were training in pre-season to start playing. 5 defenders, 3 midfielders, Sterling and Jackson against Luton Town, against Nottingham Forest. That's fucking nonsense. That's absolute nonsense.
2 attackers,
I've never
bro.
seen such
The other day,
tactical
Roy, yeah, you know what's so crazy, bro? I watched Man City the other day against Forest, yeah? They had 5 attackers on the pitch. We had 2, bro.
2
5 attacking minded players.
attackers
We had
against
2,
Forest.
bro.
At home. We're not even going to the City ground where it's like, it could be a tough away day, even though it shouldn't even be a tough away day. But the fact that Pochettino has made so many mistakes, and these are just on-pitch mistakes, by the way. I haven't even spoken about how he rejected João Felix, one of the best attacking midfielders in Europe, and someone whose profile we desperately need right now.
Who'd rather have hard work.
Desperately need.
Who'd rather have hard work in a Gallagher than a guy that can
Yeah,
actually do something on the ball.
You
You don't
guys
need
make
Felix.
things happen.
You don't need Felix.
Yes,
You
we
don't.
do. Because
No,
why
you
am I saying
don't.
Enzo
You
Fernandez at
don't.
10?
Roy.
Why am I
No,
saying
hold
Enzo
on, no. Let him keep cooking.
You're
Let him
not
keep cooking. Let him keep cooking. No, let
You're
him
not done?
keep cooking.
Rejected João
Moment, I'm
Felix.
gonna go on this Chelsea
Mistake-
section, not you.
mistake
After
number
them,
one.
I'm going.
Mistake number
Yes,
2.
I'm booking my
Mistake number
place.
2 was relying
Oh my
on
God.
a guy who had a good half season in Jackson and someone who scored 20 goals in back-to-back seasons in Italy, rejecting Dusan Vlahovic. Because Jackson listen, he's a nice technician, I'll give him that. But he misses the 2 main things of a striker. Number 1 is killer instinct. Number 2 is box movement. He lacks those 2 things. And his ball striking is poor as well. Let's make it 3. You placed faith in that and a post-ACL Broha and said no to Dusan Vlahovic, who had proven to score goals in a top 5 league in a side which didn't really give him a lot of service, if we're being honest. So the transfer dealings off the pitch, his talent ID shown to be poor. And yes, by the way, guys, the same way I had talent ID better than Tuchel, my talent ID is better than Poch as well. I don't care what anyone tells me. And on the pitch, the system he's using has been fucking horrendous. And now, before I round up, 20%, I'm not gonna lie, goes to the players because they've done so much stupid shit in the final third. They're not putting away a lot of the chances they create, so they can't go blameless. There's no way they can go blameless. They did their blame as well. And the remaining 10% is the fucking idiots who decided, under 25 or nothing. Yeah, we don't want experienced players. You want a squad full of young players. Let's reject James Maddison because God decided to bring him to this earth in 1997 instead of 1999. That's why we can't sign James Maddison. What fucking stupid idea. Now look what
Roy, you know what the irony is though,
That's a
yeah.
horrible strategy.
Roy, you know what the irony is. As much as I agree with the experience, we should have definitely bought more experience, yeah. The players that are underperforming in our team right now are these experienced players, bro.
Are they experienced?
Silva
Sterling.
has been
See, I'll go
Silva, Smelling, Gallagher, Smelly, Sterling, Bongin. Do you know what I'm saying? All these guys that everyone's saying, oh, cool. I was at the game yesterday. I'll let you land, bro, because I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to get off my chest.
Bro, like it gets to a point where it's not even surprising anymore. And honestly, I promise you, on everything I own and love, Potter did not piss me off this much. Potter did not piss me off this much.
Can I ask you a
Whoa.
question, Roy? Can I ask you a question? Would you sack Poch?
Yes, 100%. I didn't want him, so why would I keep him now? Like I would drive Poch to the airport myself.
I agree with everything that you've said,
Roy.
Roy. I agree with everything that you've said, but the sacking. For me, everything that you've said, I agree with it 110%, bro. But the only thing right now with Poch is that he needs to fix it, because these things that you're mentioning, yeah, I can speak to so many Chelsea fans right now, and they'll tell you the exact same problems. We're not taking away blame from the players. Yes, the players should be finishing some of these chances, but the manager is the guy that is coaching his team. He's the one that's setting us up in this way. And right now, it's not what we were seeing in preseason. Like I said, Terry, yeah, I was at the game yesterday, and me and Chelse were behind the goal, behind Chelsea's goal, so we could see us building out from the back, right? The way you've profiled Gallagher there, yeah, Roy, everyone knows that this guy cannot play in the pivot. He's an attacking midfielder. If you're going to start him, he basically needs to start in that 10 to be crashing into the box, like Mo's favorite phrase, yeah, crashing into the box or trying to create for the attackers in and around him. But we're playing Gallagher in that first phase. I'm looking at basic things, Terry, like body shape. The guy doesn't know how to allow his body to be open, to receive it on a half turn, to get out of tight angles and play it forward. Every single thing that he does yesterday, he was getting pressed, right? He's getting the ball from Silva and he's just playing it back to Silva. Passing responsibility back onto someone else. He can't take that responsibility himself. And then you've got Cole Palmer that comes off the bench. He's getting pressed. He gets out of the press and plays the ball to Ben Chilwell, and he should have buried that chance. But guess what will happen next game? Poch won't start Gallagher, but then Poch won't start Palmer. He'll start Gallagher in that pivot again. We spent 115 million and we're playing Caicedo next to Conor Gallagher. we're playing 3 centre-backs when we've got a ball-winning midfielder that a lot of top clubs wanted, and we're not letting him earn his money right now. Do you know what I'm saying? What is the point in playing a Caicedo? What is the point in going through all these troubles that you did in bringing in Caicedo and not letting him protect the back four like he needs to? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm looking at the goal that Aston Villa scored yesterday. If you're going to play 3 at the back, Terry, you can't be conceding goals. I can count 3 or 4 mistakes that Silva's had now in the goals that we've conceded this season, yeah? The number one thing that they always say when you play football, yeah, is don't let the ball bounce. What does Thiago Silva do? He let the ball bounce. It skipped past him. Diaby picked it up, played it onto Watkins. They ended up scoring the goal. I was in the ground. Levi was pissed, bro. Levi Cole was angry at Thiago Silva. He slammed his hands on the floor. He was fuming because these are just basic things. But again, these are the experienced players. The problem that Poch has right now is that he's not trusting the young players that he's got. Even though they've got the quality that we need to build, he is not trusting them right now. And it's fucking up everything that he's trying to do, because you're playing Gallagher in a pivot out of position. You're playing Levi at left back when he's a better left centre back. Yesterday, there were so many weapons that we could use from the back. When you're looking at Mudryk, right, and Aston Villa, they came out to play. They wanted to play us, right? There were so many times I'm looking at Mudryk. He's literally on the last man on Matty Cash, and he could have been gone. Levi Cole could have been finding him so many times, but he can't do that role because Thiago Silva's in that position. He can't play those balls over the top because he's playing that left back.
So long to pass as well. Silva takes so long on the ball. I hate it.
He takes so long. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's now time for Thiago Silva. As much as I love him, he's been world class for us. It's time for him to get dropped. It's time for Poch to stop being so scared. I don't know what he's scared of, Terry. Like, the guy knew what he walked into. We've got young players. Yes, we should have bought more experience, but these are young quality players, bro. Some of these guys that have come on, for example, Leslie, he's shown me more in the cameos that he's had, right? In how long's he been here, Roy? 2-3 months? He showed me more quality than Gallagher's shown me in like 2 seasons. Gallagher's had Premier League experience from a West Brom team that got relegated, Palace, who are a mid-table team and they can never make Europe, right? And a Chelsea team that was mudded. This is the guy that we're making our captain right now in a pivot. And we're taking Enzo Fernandez out of that pivot to play Gallagher, bro.
It doesn't make any sense.
These are crazy things. Do you know Mudryk again showing why he should have been starting from the beginning. He has literally created clear-cut chances 2 games in a row now, starting from the left. But guess what? He's the first person that comes off while Sterling is on the
Mudryk comes off
crossing. Sterling's crossing the ball as if his eyes are closed, constantly just
and he should have squared it, bro. Oh, he didn't square that chance.
Boys, I get you guys are ranting. I want to go to some more of the panels. We've got a lot of super chats on Chelsea to go. Like Husam, what are you saying, bro? What are you saying to what? Again, they're calling for the manager to be sacked. Well, Roy is. You know, Don the other day was talking, he's been talking up Chelsea. They're going to make top 4 this year. They'll finish in front of Liverpool. They're in a better place than Man United.
Not in this setup. Not in this setup. I've said that already.
Brother, you won't finish ahead of Liverpool in any setup. Just chill. Now, anyway.
Oh, yeah, I'll put us fourth. I'll put us fourth behind you.
No problem. No, you could get Pep tomorrow and you're still not finishing above us. Now, when it comes to Chelsea, I'm loving this Chelsea therapy going on and stuff. I hope they've gotten it out of their system. I didn't interrupt you guys, so don't interrupt. First of all, big up straight facts. This is why my straight facts, when I spoke on Chelsea, people in the comments got triggered. Now, these 2 are the biggest proof everything I said is coming true. We are asking the most impatient fan base in this entire league to be patient. The biggest culprit of all this is Todd Bowley. This is the ultimate reality. Todd Bowley decided he wants to do an under-24s team. There is literally no one with any sort of experience in that entire team. And let me tell you something about Conor Gallagher.
There's a bunch of players with experience.
Done. I didn't interrupt you, brother. Let me land. When it comes to Conor Gallagher is an easy target. For me, I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying it to take the piss. I'm being dead serious. Conor Gallagher has been one of Chelsea's best players this whole season, whether people like it or not. Conor Gallagher has done what is expected.
What's he done, Husam, this season? What has he done?
I'm getting there. That's my next sentence. So let me land. Conor Gallagher has done what's expected of Conor Gallagher, which is tackle, get involved, high work rate. That's what you expect of Conor Gallagher to begin with. Conor Gallagher is not going to run through 6 players, create an opportunity to score a goal. The problem is people always love to scapegoat certain people. It's like having a Man United fan on this panel going like, the reason why we didn't play football is Scott McTominay. No one believes that crap. So let's not sit up here and act like, oh, this is all Gallagher's fault or Pochettino's fault.
Do you want Gallagher in your 11? Do you want Gallagher in your 11?
Can I land? Is it okay if I land? My brother, you both spoke for 17 minutes, no one interrupted. Let me speak now. So anyway, when it comes to Chelsea Football Club, the biggest culprit of this is Todd Bowley. 0 experience in that team, signing under 23 players, signing them on death row contracts, Now there is an article by it was one of the major journalists, and it said that if a club makes 50% correct signings, it's considered a successful club in the transfer window. So now all of these players on 8, 9, 7-year contracts, if next year you want to sell them, then what? There's already talks about Mudryk loans and sells. Who's going to buy out Mikhailo Mudryk 5-year contract? No one's going to buy that shit. No one's willing to pay 20 million to a guy that they, besides the transfer money that they have to pay and besides his own wages at said new club. Second of all, Pochettino, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Arteta, bring any manager to that Chelsea side and it will not solve anything. The reason why it will not solve anything,
That's a lie.
the only way these players get better is through match experience. Your average age is about 13 years old. You cannot expect any manager to come in here and start creating something special and amazing within 5-6 games. The reality is when you sign players this young, and when you have this much inexperience in the team, the vision from Todd Bowley and whoever is responsible at Chelsea Football Club is to win in 3-4 years from now. Their vision is to do fuck all this season. They just want to
ask you a question.
Style of play. 1 second, brother. They want to establish style of play, and it's not Pochettino's fault. There's a guy that has been mentioned by both of you guys, Mr. Jackson. Why aren't we speaking about Jackson? He has the highest chances missed in this entire league. He has 1 goal out of an XP of 7. He has supposed to have 7 goals right now. He has 1 goal. And we're sitting here going like, oh, Gallagher. It's an easy target, Gallagher. Gallagher's doing what you expect Gallagher to do. High work rate and tackling. That's all you expect the guy to do. And that's the reality. So the thing is, you can bring in a new manager. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Chelsea are not going to be successful from now until 3 years until these players develop. Caicedo, hold that. Lavia, hold that. This is why you chase things in life that matter. You don't chase the bag. You went and you chased the bag, and now look at you. You are fucking stinky in 14th place. You could have been in a title race, Caicedo. You could have been in a title race. Hold that now. Enjoy your bag, but hold that. Now,
Sam, let me just say something. Yeah, you're saying that we're trying to scapegoat Conor Gallagher. Yeah, number one, you literally just said, yeah, Conor Gallagher's there to be what a ball winner. That's literally what you've just described Conor Gallagher to be, an attacking midfielder to be a ball winner. You haven't described any quality in terms of the end product. He's been playing in the pivot, and he's not meant to be in that pivot, bro. Enzo's meant to be in that pivot, so he's being misprofiled. That is, what do you mean? That's beside the point. That's like you play McAllister. That's like you play McAllister DM. That's like you. Hold on, bro. That's like you play McAllister DM and expecting him to have the same performances that he would have as an 8. Gallagher shouldn't even be in this 11. And what makes it even worse is that he's taken Enzo. He shouldn't even be at this football club anymore, yeah? You're taking Enzo Fernandez, who's literally been brought in to progress us from back to front, like Fabregas was doing before, right? You're expecting Conor Gallagher to do that. And like I've just said to you, Conor Gallagher does not have the attributes and quality to play that role. So that's number one. That's one thing that you're doing wrong there. You're playing Levi, like I said, at left back as well, yeah? And you're saying about, you're trying to scapegoat these young players. You've brought all this inexperience and that. You name me all these young players that have been performing as badly as Silva or as badly as Gallagher this season or as bad as Sterling this season. Because from what I've seen of the young players, Jackson has been number one. Jackson, yes,
Colwell has been your worst defender.
Jackson for majority of the games this
season.
Cole
hasn't been worse than Silva this season. No,
he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Silva, he hasn't. You see what I'm saying? He's not watching us. He's not watching us. Caicedo was one of our best players yesterday.
Worse than Colwell. That's not even close.
Silva's been our worst defender, bro. Disasi's been better than him. Disasi's been better.
Yeah, Disasi's been better than Silva. That's how you're doing agendas.
How am I doing agendas? He's been better than Silva. No, okay, whatever. That's your opinion. I'm telling you my opinion. For me, Silva's been poor. Yeah. So you're just trying to You're trying to scapegoat these youngsters. Yeah. You expect.
I'm blaming Todd Bowley.
No, okay. You're blaming Todd Bowley. Cool. We know that Todd Bowley takes blame and the ownership and that for signing all these young players. We know this, Husam, yeah? But the point that I'm making right now is that we're not creating the best environment for them on the pitch to build any sort of chemistry or build any sort of cohesion, because we're constantly playing people in the wrong positions and we're constantly misprofiling players. And like I've said to you already, the players that have actually
position, who other than
Gallagher's playing in the wrong position.
Can we chime in, guys, a little bit?
How can he play that's one player? Let me finish my point. And he doesn't know he's playing. You can't say.
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
That's just one guy, Gallagher.
If you were watching, you would know, bro.
You would know. This is what I'm saying.
Wingers are playing on the wing. Jackson is playing as striker. The midfielders are playing in midfield, and the defenders are playing in defense.
I'm actually gonna shut.
Hey,
my
listen,
mouth.
Long may it continue, people.
Terry, you know what? Everything I'm telling you has coming into fruition right now.
Yeah, but
You see?
Husam,
One guy
this is the thing though.
One guy's in
Oh,
place.
Husam,
I'm actually getting.
the guy, listen, yeah, and like I said,
Why you not
these lineups, Husam, these lineups that he's
Because when
putting
I
out.
told Terry this, he told me I'm jealous because of the lab.
Husam, bro,
I'm not-
Husam,
You're a little bit
Husam.
jealous.
You would,
You are jealous.
Husam,
No, I'm
listen,
not.
yeah,
No.
Husam, you would have a point. You would have a leg to stand on, and I would hear what you're saying a lot more, yeah. If right now Poch is putting out a lineup that we want to see, and we're still not progressing the way that we expect them to develop or progress, yeah. And it's especially on top of that, I'm not even using these excuses that Poch is using about injuries, because he keeps going back to that. Oh, I'm picking these lineups right now because we're missing players. I'm sorry,
Fucking
you've
nonsense.
got more than enough right now, yeah, to be playing
Thank
people in their normal position. We are not asking for too much. Football is not a difficult game, bro. The basics of football is to play man in their normal positions.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people are trying to move the goalposts
I
and
wanna
acting
get
like
2
Chelsea
points,
fans
and I
are
asked
impatient.
you-
Guys, I'm going to jump in here. Mo's been waiting very patiently now.
I'm actually gonna
Mo-
put my head through my laptop
2
screen. I
points
swear.
across.
Don't do that.
Terry
Mo's
and
been
Lee
waiting to speak
Gunner-
now for 20 minutes. Go for it, Mo.
Thierry
Go on, man.
and Lee Gunner had a kind of an argument over the summer when Lee asked that, can we change a whole team over the summer? And Terry told him that's not how it works. It never worked. And Lee said, it will work. This is the evidence that it's not going to work. I just remember this conversation now. It's very obvious that it's not working. Number 2 thing is that Pochettino has gotten Chelsea from playing stinky football last year to be in the first in ball position. You are 6th in creating chances. You are 4th in progressive passes and everything. So that's not on Poch completely. He's playing players out of position, but maybe his hands are forced behind his back because the players are not as good as you guys think they are. The Raheem Sterlings, the Jacksons,
yes,
the
they
Modric.
are, bro.
Okay, let me finish. Done. The fact is,
The lawyer's
Done.
back.
the fact is, the stats show otherwise. I'm watching Chelsea. You don't look as bad on the pitch as you guys are painting the picture. You still hold position. You still create chances. Jackson still runs behind the defense. He's missing the chance, right? Conor Gallagher, by the way, putting tackles in. Look at his stats and look at him on the pitch.
That's not what we need him for, bro.
Yeah.
Conor Gallagher's not.
No,
He's not
Conor-
meant to
I'm
be there
sorry.
to just be doing
I'm
that,
gonna
bro.
back
We've got
Sam
Caicedo.
here. This
We've
is
got
Conor
Caicedo for
Gallagher's
that.
main attribute. It's
Okay,
running
thank
around
you.
putting
But we've got
tackles in.
Caicedo for that, bro. We've got Caicedo for that. We've got Caicedo for that. Why do we need Caicedo and Gallagher, bro? Why are we not thinking? Why are we not thinking about our attacking threat? Why are we not thinking about our attacking threat? Why are we playing
You want
Conor
me to
Gallagher and
answer
Caicedo?
you, or you
Come on,
want to
bro.
just scream at me? You want me to answer you? Maybe Enzo isn't good defensively as you guys think he is. Maybe
Caicedo
Ryan
is next to him for that
training.
reason. Enzo is good
Maybe
defensively.
okay. So hear me out. Maybe he needs 2 of them, Caicedo and Gallagher. That's why he's doing that. Have you ever thought about it from this perspective? That he doesn't trust the defense to play Enzo next to Caicedo because your midfield would have been wide open in the midfield for the oppositions to do that. You never thought about it from the other perspective.
So
from the
Caicedo
Manchester
statistically
perspective.
wasn't one of the best ball winners last season, right?
But,
We
but
bought-
not
yeah,
by himself. The
we
difference
we
is
bought him to.
not
We
by
bought
himself.
Do you know what it is, though? Do you know what it is, though?
I don't get it.
Hang on, guys.
So Caicedo can play with McAllister.
Hang
All of
on.
a sudden, he can't play
Again,
with
guys,
Enzo.
wait a second, guys.
Like, what?
Wait, hang on. I'm talking. Host is here. Caicedo was doing it at a team that people don't approach like they approach Chelsea. There is an adaptation sometimes when you go for a team like Brighton to playing for a giant like Chelsea. The way your opponents set up against you is highly different. And when it comes to the stats of defenders and like defensive midfielders, often the stats that like the Premier League's website will have will often show like more blocks, interceptions, tackles, clearances from players that in those roles at the worst teams, generally because they're attacked far more regularly than the better team. So you'll always see a centre back who's in the bottom 3 or 4 clubs who will have more clearances sometimes than I don't know, than a Saliba, than a Van Dijk, because of the amount of times that ball's whipped into their box and they clear it. Caicedo is brilliant, but one question, and we don't need a monologue to answer it, please. Could there not be a more logical reason? Now, you're a very clever man, Roy. So are you, Dom. Occam's razor here to the manager playing people out of position. Couldn't it just be that the players that you think should be there are not delivering his system even in training and he doesn't want to risk it in the game? Could that not be a possibility, at least?
It could be, but I'm seeing guys like Cole Palmer like the other day. The guy came on for 22 minutes. Cole Palmer created more chances and registered more successful attacking third passes than any other Chelsea player against Aston Villa. He done this in 22 minutes, right? I saw more from Cole Palmer when he came on up against 10 men, by the way, than what I've seen all season from Gallagher in terms of actually giving us that attacking threat. right? In 22 minutes. Every single game that he's had when he's come off the bench, he's looked good. Do you get it? And every single match we've all been saying Cole Palmer's got to start. And then we see the same lineup again. And Terry, every single team that we've played this season, up again, except from Liverpool and what do you call it? Aston Villa the other day, right? They've all set up on a low block. So if you guys are describing Gallagher to be this ball-winning midfielder, and then Caicedo is the same sort of thing, why do you need both of them playing together up against these oppositions? Why?
You've literally
it doesn't make any sense. Where's the attacking threat? You're just going defensively for what? What are you so scared of?
I understand that.
The thing is, sorry, to answer your question are these players good enough? Like, for me, as in, like I said, I'm not a football manager, but I know what I see with my own two eyes. And from what I've seen of Levi Colwill, from what I've seen of Thiago Silva, and from what I've seen of our left backs, I don't know what on earth could be happening in training to make Poch think that none of those left backs are worth starting. I'm sorry. I don't even rate Ben Chilwell. But to think that all of a sudden Levi Colwill is suddenly a better left back than him, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not as if he's not even using.
Mad what pressure does to people, isn't it? It's mad
look at that run from deep, Roy. Look at that run from deep. Look at that run from deep.
He's not even using Colwill like Arteta uses Ben White.
I hear you. Just in the interest of time, Rory, how many points in the next 9 fixtures are Chelsea going to pick up, in your opinion? Away to Fulham, Burnley, they then play Arsenal and Brentford. Then they play Tottenham, City, Newcastle, Brighton, Man United, 5 games straight. Genuinely, Rory, how many points do you see Chelsea picking up in this position? And are they legitimately moving towards a relegation fight?
Yeah, they pick up 1 point away at Burnley, a 0-0 draw. I think they're good enough to do that. In terms of a relegation battle, 39 points from 38 games. So 38 games is a full season, and they've picked up 39 points in the last. That is literally, over a long, full season, relegation form. And they are in relegation form. They're going into a period where I think they get 1 point between now and Christmas, which is problematic for them. And I know you're laughing. I'm not. That's genuine. I'm being serious.
I know you're always.
And
Rory, do you honestly think that Poch is going to carry on with this 11, and we're just gonna keep playing the way we are? We're gonna have guys like Badia Shield. We're gonna have guys like Reece James. We're gonna have guys like Laviar, but things aren't going to improve. But it's okay for Man United to look at the players that they're missing, and they're going to strengthen. But with Chelsea, there's no way. All these guys are shit. We'll just need experience to kick on. None of these guys can kick a ball. They're just shit. Chelsea are done. Do you think that?
Because Man United fans at least have some element of sense to them, so they won't be forcing Ten Hag out. Chelsea fans, within the next 3 weeks, will have forced Pochettino out. And part of that is because Todd Boehly is basically the embodiment of a Chelsea fan. He has no patience whatsoever. And Abramovich didn't have much patience and was determined to win. No, he doesn't. Abramovich didn't have much patience and was determined to win, but he didn't care what the fans thought. So Abramovich typically did the things that actually resulted in Chelsea winning. The problem is Todd Boehly really cares about what Chelsea fans think. And so his instant gratification that he really craves actually comes from just signing whoever the Chelsea fan base want to sign. And they're looking on Twitter and looking at the fire emojis that Chelsea fans are putting all over Twitter.
He doesn't even do the recruitment. That's just so lazy because he doesn't even do the recruitment anymore.
He does. He does.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do the recruitment anymore. Who told you that? Where did you get that from?
Poch certainly doesn't, does he? Because he's got none of the players that he would actually want and need to play. So you've got this issue where Todd Boehly is basically a Chelsea fan in terms of his lack of patience, his instant gratification, and he's set Chelsea up for genuinely 3 years minimum of what you've got now.
But Rory, I can go back to Graham Potter, yeah. The amount of patience that they gave for this guy, right? It's not like not Todd Boehly, sorry. It's not like Graham Potter was sacked where he was in 6th or 7th. The guy left us in what, 12th? What position was he in?
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Hold on, let me talk you through it, bro. Yeah, we lost to Southampton. We were bottom of the table. He didn't get sacked. All the briefings that were coming out at the time is he still got He's still being backed by the board. We lost the following week against Spurs. He still didn't get sacked, bro. Yeah, we lost 2-1. I think was it 2-1 or 2-0 that we lost against Spurs. Ziyech nearly got a red card. Yeah, that was a game when Ziyech was literally on the verge of going.
So many, you're forgetting the score,
bro. There was so many games that we were losing. Yeah, and they were still saying that Graham Potter has the full backing. It got to a point where it was untenable to keep him. That's when they had to get rid of him. And everything that came out after is that Todd Boehly was the one that was actually pushing to keep Potter at that point, and Barley's the one that was saying, "No, we've got to cut ties here." Bowley
Alright,
wanted
so
him out. Todd Bowley
right,
was saying, let's give him, let's try. But it got to a point where there was nothing else, bro, that he could do. Everything that he was doing, it wasn't working anymore.
So you've got the blind leading the blind. If you're going to blame Bowley instead of Bowley, it makes no difference. It's still the people that are running your club, and this is the level that I feel Chelsea fans are, is that you think Graham Potter had a lot of time and was given a lot of patience. He had 31 games. He had 31 games at the club. He joined. He had none of his own signings, and he had 31 games at the club.
And
that's
guess
not
what?
patience.
He had 2 wins.
That's not time.
He had 2 wins in like 17 games or something like that. What was it?
And,
2 points in 17.
And Pochettino's probably not going to be any better. At what point do you turn around and start going, we either give them a prolonged, proper period of time, or we get rid of Bowley and Egbali and actually start running ourselves like a normal football club instead of trying to do this ridiculous rebuild? Well, it's it's too late now. It's too late.
No one said. I'm not saying to sack Poch. I'm just asking for Poch to fix up. It's 6 games in. Listen, Roy wants him out. And I don't blame him because he didn't want him initially. Yeah, and obviously for me, Roy, I'll be honest with you. I did feel like you had a Poch agenda before he even came here, and you can say otherwise, yeah. But I do think that you had an agenda before he came here. But listen, everything that Roy feels, I don't blame him at all. Everyone that doubted Poch is being proved right now. Roy is being proved right now. You get it? I don't even want to be proved right, and he doesn't want to be proved right.
Can I ask you genuinely? Can I ask you, Don, genuinely? Do you think that he is sick of the management and the way a club is running, and he wants to get sacked to get the payout? Genuinely,
why would he want to get sacked?
He's only got a 2-year contract.
Because 22 mil, he gets 22. Listen, I tried to dissect. No. I tried to dissect everything that you, Rory, Lewis, all the Chelsea fans that I do content with, and I can't see a reason why we would do opposite to what you guys and everybody thinks is logic, other than someone who genuinely wants to lose their job.
But this is the thing, right? What you're saying, Mo, makes far more sense than just strangely playing people. It's either the players are not as good as Chelsea fans believe they are, or the manager's trying to get himself sacked. So it has to be one of the. And the reason I say that, boys, this isn't me digging him out. I use the same logic at my own club. We're not Alex Joneses here. This isn't conspiracy theory central. It's going to be the most logical, simplistic answer. That's generally in life, that's what it comes down to. You know, like when someone's late for work and they always have a big old excuse, the reason they're late for work is generally they went to bed too late or they drunk too much the night before. There's only really one reason. They went to bed too late and they woke up too late. There's traffic and my kids and the dog, and it's all lies. The most simplistic answer is nearly always the truth. And listen, I thought Chelsea looked really good in the summer. And I thought, wow, they're going to cook something. Two things are going on here. I think some of the players aren't as good as people thought. There's lots of youngsters within that. And last season's problems are overhanging. And every game you go without winning, the pressure is mounting on the manager and on these players. And because you're big boy Chelsea, you've spent £1 billion in the last year, 400 million this summer. The pressure isn't going to go away. And like I said before, playing for Chelsea is different than playing for Brighton, different from playing for Southampton. The pressure is magnified 1,000,000%. And your team is struggling right now. This is a confidence issue far more than it is a technical one, because you're moving the ball all the way to in front of goal, and then you're missing opportunities, or you make that final decision is where you're making the mistakes. And then all that happens is you can see the goal, the heads go, the shoulders drop, and you fall away, typically speaking. So, and I recognize a lot of this because I've seen my club do it for a whole goddamn decade. And it's a mixture of things. The manager will make mistakes. There will be some players that are not good enough. But for me, I see a mentality issue on that football pitch, because game by game this season, you've got progressively worse compared to pre-season right through till now. That can't be a technical problem. That has to be a mentality issue and a discipline issue and the ability to rise above things. I will come back to you guys in a minute. I need to go to the Superchats because of the risk of time, because we might not even get onto Liverpool that much today, and because I've got dinner soon. The question here says, Don, are Chelsea still in a better position than Man United? That's from a Liverpool fan.
Listen, Poch is creating his own mess. Do you get it? He's creating his own mess right now. I still do think we're in a better position than United. Yes, we've got more quality than them, for sure. We've got more quality than them. It's 6 games in. Why are we talking like it's game week 38? Like, it's 6 games in. The guy's got more than enough time to fix up.
It's only going to get worse for you. I don't think you... It's going to get so much worse before...
If he carries on in this setup, it will get worse. You're right.
This is it. Don, do you remember me from Never a Foul 2 weeks ago? I told you, brother, Chelsea aren't breaking 10th this season. Your project is a circus.
Bro.
Big up.
Joshua Jack says off topic, but Dermot Gallagher is a window. Okay, don't call him a window licker. That's very offensive. I didn't know what you were going to say there. Listen, did you actually very quickly? Yeah, they asked him what the difference between Arsenal's handball was and Man United's Romero, and his response was, and I'm slightly paraphrasing here, but it was, well, because VAR checked it, and I just think one was and one wasn't. He couldn't give a detailed explanation of the difference between the two handballs because we knew they both were penalties. Anyway, people said that Man City won the league without a striker. When they had Jesus, he's a B-Tech Firmino, a player some Arsenal fans say don't score. Thank you, Jay.
Firmino like that.
I'm not saying... All I'm saying is Mateus Nunes and Kovacic are absolutely going to run rings around this Arsenal midfield, and it's going to be embarrassing when Arsenal lose. Thank you there, bro. It's only Chelsea that will make our draw with Spurs look like a win. The way Don is so confident in his team makes me think it's actually a decent side. My tears were wiped after I found out they had lost against Villa. Thanks for the show, guys. Come on, you gooners. Thank you for that brilliant super chat and donation.
I'm so concerned about us, man. We're relegation candidates, man. Don't worry about us, man.
The only team that hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League in September. This by itself,
Facts.
is ridiculous stat.
Somehow
Luke
it's Gallagher's
scored the
fault, man.
What have we said that's lying to us? I don't get this super chat.
That's all Gallagher's
Chelsea fan
fault.
here. How are the Chelsea fans on this panel still lying to themselves? I think what he means, Don, it's like when you say, like, I think in the last 12 months, Man United have more than almost double, if not over double your points. And
Aston Villa have more than double our points in 2023.
Yeah, and to say that you're in a better position, I just think people look at it and go, that's just a crazy take.
Because I don't look at it, sure. Everyone's looking at what's in front of them right now. I'm looking at the whole season as an overall and the quality that we're working with. You've literally just said, Terry, you've got players that can't do what Ten Hag needs to do. We do, and he's not playing them.
So again, I think we do have players that can do what Ten Hag can. I said a lot of them are injured. I understand that. My issue,
the ones that aren't injured, aren't injured right now.
Again. So we're going to get into a conversation which is slightly off what we're talking about. I don't think Man United are in a good position. However, I still think we are very, very clear of your current predicament. That doesn't mean I think Man United are amazing and playing well. So I don't want to reframe where I think Man United are in this moment in time, but we're still ahead of you. You know, I'm saying, like, Brentford are ahead of you as a football club right now. Fulham are ahead of you as a football club right now. Guys, to let just Chelsea fans speak since they like their own voices too much, Bowley is the main culprit when he decided to change the Chelsea at its core. That's a good point there. Question to Don and Roy and the Chelsea fans that are listening. Will you be there if Chelsea get relegated? Are you going to file for a summer transfer?
Not happening.
if you have to,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen, isn't it?
It's not even unrealistic anymore, which is the mad thing.
100% is completely and utterly nonsensical.
Okay, so Roy, if it happens, will you still be a Chelsea fan? That's the question.
Of course I will.
Yeah, listen, the biggest reason Chelsea won't get relegated, and this isn't a
dig, this is way off the pace.
Yeah. Sheffield United, Luton, Burnley, these guys are just worse than Chelsea. That's why they won't go down.
If Chelsea go down, that's gonna be the funniest thing that we ever seen in football in the history.
If Chelsea
God, bro!
If Chelsea did get relegated, it doesn't matter what any of our clubs do. Spending $1 billion and getting relegated, it will never be topped. It will never be topped in our lifetime. So we could, it won't happen. Terry moved in from delusional Don from centre forward to pressing 10 to assist. Roy masterclass tactical decision. Thank you, bro. Terry asked Don if Chelsea go on a spending spree in January. Do you think you'll go and spend more money in Jan?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be in for Tony. And I reckon we'll probably be in one for one more player. I reckon after that.
I hear you on that.
Just get a new starting 11. Just start it again.
This
we don't need it. Bro, we haven't seen the 11 that we want to see. You guys keep ignoring that point.
Guys, be careful. They're going to mention amortization. Be careful.
This here says, I'm done with Poch. There's no process to get behind with him. I don't know what style of football he's cooking. Relegations is a serious matter now. I don't see us winning any of our next 15 games.
I don't blame you, brother. I do not blame you at all.
I don't know why I'm laughing like I don't agree with him.
Do you know
I agree with him, bro. I agree with him.
When you actually look at those fixtures, I do think you'll beat Burnley away because Burnley are not very good. Even though they outplayed us, I don't think they're very good. But the rest of those games,
I don't think
legitimately,
we'll win any of them.
I don't see how you win any of them. And I'm just annoyed that we don't get to play to December. We need a nice tune-up game where we're guaranteed to win.
Tune-up game. You're the one that's you. Have you seen how many shots that United are conceding right now? Tune-up game.
Yeah,
Terry's talking like teams are just running all over us. We're causing our own issues right now.
Yes.
A lot of we're causing a lot of our issues right now. Do you get
So
what I'm
why
saying?
The difference, guys, between
And we're
Man
not
United
taking our
against-
chances.
Yes, the difference between Man United against Burnley and Chelsea against Burnley is Evans played a long ball first time. Bruno Fernandes, the back of the net, quality.
You're right. And we
Where
spoke
is
about
that
it
going to
earlier.
happen for Chelsea?
Exactly, bro. And that's the thing that I'm
Someone
talking
explain to me. Like, you can have all the ball. What are you going
Don, how are you saying exactly when you spent half an hour talking about Gallagher? You didn't mention.
Do you know what's really funny about it? Listen, Don.
Come on, man.
Listen, I know you're in pain right now, bruv. And again, Man United are not doing very well. But even this season, we still have 300% more wins than you. Like, take Man United out your mouth, bruv. You are down there with Luton and Bournemouth.
If you want to ignore your performances, that is fine. That you do that.
Again,
will
so
be
what you're
caught.
doing, do you know what's really the irony in what you're doing here? Is you like don't look back at. You're like telling me not to look at the short-termism when it comes to Chelsea, but I'm looking at everything that's happened to your club in the last 2 years and where you are now because it all plays a part. I'm also looking at Man United, and yeah, we've started badly, but I know how well this team can play and the points we can get under Ten Hag. So for me to act like I don't think we're going to turn it around is me being disingenuous. I think you guys can turn it around. A mentality shift is needed, though. And I said that at the beginning of the year.
Right.
You guys were looking good. But I did say if you don't start off scoring and winning those early games, last season will come back to haunt you because it's psychological.
And Terry, listen, I was at the ground as well. Just one thing on mentality. I was at the ground, yeah. Jackson, bro, his confidence is on the floor. And I'm so sorry, as much as he's missed some of these chances, yeah, Poch is playing a big part in why Jackson is playing the way he is right now. Because all preseason, he had Nkuku to link up with. He had Carney to link up with. Players like that. He decided to stick Ben Chilwell on the left for how many games? Wasted everyone's time. He was getting no service whatsoever. You're seeing Jackson having to drop so deep and do 2 or 3 jobs because we are not set up correctly. We're not playing the right personnel around him. It's a joke. It's an actual joke right now. I was watching him yesterday, Terry, and I felt sorry for the guy, man. He looks like his confidence is on the floor.
No, I get where you're coming from. This here is showing expected assist. XA, that's the one. Sorry, of Mohamed Mudryk versus Maddison, showing that they're pretty similar to each other in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's just why you don't use some statistics, isn't it?
Yeah. Evening, Terry and everyone. Chelsea fans, how many games are you going to win in your next 10? We've kind of been through that, Dinesh. Thank you for that super chat, bro. This super chat says everyone is on the Maddison train, ignoring it was his error that led to Jesus's chance. That should have killed the game. He missed, so everybody forgot. It's also a fair point. Someone also threw in earlier, they said, but he's also been relegated as well, Maddison. That's what I mean. There's pros and cons for both. Both brilliant players, though. Chelsea fans waffling. Ask Roy what the solution is. He keeps coming up short. Well, he's answered the solution. Sack the manager, bring a better manager in, is what he said. Bowley wants us to turn into the Red Bull model for profit. He said it himself. We spent $1 billion and don't have a 9 or a 10, but fans don't get it somehow, is what Ntiti says here. This says, Cowboy fans, I don't know why y'all got so sensitive at what Husam said. You're doing F all with all these kids. Even Pep said you can't win it with kids. Patient.
So why do they all look better than these experienced players that we've got right now? Why is it that when Mudryk comes on the left, we've actually got an attacking threat on the left? Why is it that when Levi went at centre back yesterday, he looks a lot better than what he was playing at left back? Why is it that when Leslie comes on, who's 19 by the way, had an amazing game against Bournemouth, little cameos that he's come on, he's played very well. Why are these things happening if these guys are so shit? Why is it that Jackson was playing the way he's been playing and he's 22 and now he's lost all his confidence? You can see it's on the floor. Why are these things happening if these guys are so bad?
But there's a difference between like other properly run top clubs, those sorts of young players like Leslie, they'll have those cameos through a season and then maybe they'll go out on loan and play a lot of games for a championship club and then they might come back and be ready. Just because he can make a few good cameos against Bournemouth does not mean he's ready to start Premier League games.
Well, he played very well against Bournemouth and didn't look out of place. He looked like a Premier League footballer to me off that game.
In a cameo against Bournemouth.
It wasn't a cameo. He started against Bournemouth.
Okay, fine. But the point is...
And he was one of our best players on the pitch. Mo's rubbing his face because he was bigging him up.
All
Go on,
right,
tell-
well,
just
just
show
start
Rory
them
on your
then.
screen.
Start them all
Exactly,
then.
start him.
I
Then.
think
Start
you're
them.
not
Then.
getting what
That's
we're
how it
saying.
goes.
I don't
I mean,
get it.
it's last few super chats here. This says Gallagher is playing better than Caicedo, but you guys can't get off his meat. You'll make every excuse for Enzo and Caicedo. Clowns Chelsea fans is what IE says. This super chat also says, are we just going to ignore Enzo? He stinks for 120 million.
I'll speak about Enzo as soon as he starts getting used in the right position. I'm more
No,
than
but
happy.
I've been told,
Here we go,
Roy, been told he can play the 10. Been told he's one of the most creative players in the league. Been told on this
He is
show.
one of the
Played
most
10
creative players
never
in the league.
played, by the way.
Bro,
It's
So why is he
never
not,
played
Husam,
listen,
if he's playing 10, if he played 10, Husam, why is he not performing to that level of Chelsea Football Club as a 10?
Because Jackson keeps missing
He's not a
chances.
10, bro.
They've named
He's
him
not a 10.
He's not a 10.
Clearly, you can see he's not a 10, Mo. Clearly, you can
Mo,
see. So hang on to that.
if I send you to a golf course and I give you cricket bats to play with, are you going to play well? No, you're not. So then why are we expecting Enzo to perform a 10? Like, what
I
are we doing?
said that. No. I am actually echoing what Chelsea fans saying. I actually think he's not a 10, but I've been told he's one of the most creative players in the league.
Okay,
He's one of the most. He can be creative from back. Bro, Fabregas got how many assists for Costa, by the way? Yeah, when he was playing as a 6. Yeah, you can still create, bro, from deep. Like, you don't
Yeah, but
have to be playing
Fabregas could also have that output from playing at 10 because he was an actual world-class player.
It was different kind of
I
player.
different
actually
type of
feel
player,
bad for
different type
Enzo
of player.
because
Yeah.
Enzo would have actually banged at any other club, but he just had that cesspit.
No. Enzo bossed your midfield just this season when he was playing.
Oh,
in his
you're
actual
gonna be
position.
boring.
When he was
You're
playing
gonna
in
be
his actual
boring.
position. Now he's been played up in a 10. He's been still
Newcastle's
two
better
games.
midfield. You wouldn't take long.
I hear you, boys. This super chat here, Don and Roy want us to. Don and Roy want us to believe that the reason Michael Jackson and Sterling are missing all their chances is because Colwell is playing left back. Shame. By the way, I don't know your name, bro, but you've been a massive contributor to the show tonight.
Wave.
So thank you very much for this.
Wave. You just call it
Wave.
Wave.
Wave, right? I got you.
His
Thank
picture,
you.
his picture.
He's here again, Wave, and he says, "Husam, I'm begging you. Can you make a space with Tobes, Rory, and Don? Because these men need a reality check from an OG." Is what
I'll be
Wave
honest with
says.
you,
Hey, I need to get on the space with Wave, you know.
I'll be honest with you, Don and Roy cannot handle Tobes because he'll just land the minerals and they just.
Wait, Tobes, is this the same Tobes that I chat to like every? Come on, what are we doing?
He's
here,
Tobes.
man?
You won't handle him.
Listen. Me and Tobes go at it in the group chat all the time, man. Tobes is my guy, man.
I appreciate that. Look, we weren't meant to talk Liverpool today, but I have run out of time. Genuinely, I've run out of time, and I have to go. I'm very sorry, Husam. It's the Chelsea chat took up like an hour.
Can I just say one thing before you end the video? I won't take too long because I don't need therapy like this Chelsea guy. So I won't speak for 15 minutes. So 30 seconds. Mo Salah is the best player in this entire league. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. He has double the big chances created as James Maddison, who everyone's been sucking off. 8 big chances created. In number 2 is Maddison with 4. His playmaking arc this season has been on some next level shit. Next week, we're gonna absolutely destroy Spurs. I'm not worried about them whatsoever. I think our front three is our biggest strength. Nunez, Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Jota, whichever direction you want to head in. All 5 directions leads you to goals as long as Mo Salah's part of that mixture because he's so creative for us. I think Szoboszlai, I agree with Terry completely, one of the signings of the summer. McAllister started slow. Roy wanted an attribute. We'll go watch the assist he had to Nunez. I think our biggest problem remains defensively, which is why I think we do need to sign a centre-back this January transfer window. But look, if we keep it close till January, we take it from there.
Maradon, I'm not ignoring Liverpool. It's just there were other pressing topics to go through on this show. Me and Lee Gunner will be delving into Liverpool in more detail tomorrow on Straight Facts, and I'm sure Husam and I will on Friday on our Straight Facts show as well. Look, I want to thank everybody who has tuned into the show today. We really do appreciate it. Please hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe as well. Let's get this show past 1,000 likes for us. To all my super chatters, genuinely, I say this all the time, but I mean it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your contributions and what you do for the Football Terrace. But Rory, Mo, Don Husam, Roy, and of course Patty was here. Patty was here earlier on today.
Real done, Dada. Come on, man.
Thank you all very much. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And